Well, hello there, and welcome to an episode of the Computer Game Show. My name is David Turn. I'm here with Matt Murray,
Hello.
James Farley,
Hello.
and Sean Bell.
Hello.
We'd like to start the show, as we always do, by thanking our Patreon producers, the Full Nels crew, the Full Nels crew. Aaron Patrick, the QuickBooks chap, Simon Nelson, Jack Oven, Moomin Biscuit, Trans Rights to Human Rights, Dave Ernsberger, Colin Brown, Gazman, Rocketman76, Grey Dragon Claw, Fred Fenge, Don Whiskerando, Colin Smith, Richard Sawyer, Tom S., John Tempelli, Jackie Sniper, Gordon Garrow, Safe As Records, Sam Higton, Max Watkins, Laser Quest, Freelance Police, and meet Steve Garrett, the slow Kindle bloke. That's a new / returning Full Nels member. Welcome back to the fold, Steve Garrett. We salute you. You can support the show by going to patreon.com/TCGS. It really does help support the show. It keeps us going. It keeps us making content. We really do appreciate it. And thank you to everyone that signed up, no matter what tier. Although we like the Full Nels tier the best, right? We like the Full Nels tier the best, right?
I should shout out to Phil Wall, who's just figured out I didn't get the slow Kindle bloke thing, but of course it's a play on the QuickBooks chap, isn't it?
It is.
Oh, very good.
Very good.
Very good. I didn't get it either, mate.
I was reading it like,
well,
is he slow at reading his Kindle? Does it render the characters one by one? I don't know. Got it now.
We should say that the Patreon people who signed up at the £4.50 tier that get Marvel Calls a week early. This Friday, you are getting the final episode of Marvel Calls, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. James, we are up to date. We are done. It is recorded. It is edited. We have made it. We've not missed a week. We did it, man.
I know, I can't believe that.
It's ridiculous. I've got to tell you, I am so happy that it's over with.
Yeah, me too.
Ian sent me a really lovely text yesterday saying you should be really proud of that. It's a big achievement, and I just said to him, but I'm just so tired. I'm just so done with it. It's been like, I don't want to go, hey man, it's been so hard. It's been such a strain on my life.
So difficult watching films.
Yeah. Watching these movies every week, but it really has been. So whatever.
I said, I'm looking forward to having my weekends back. Like it's brilliant.
Yeah. It really has been Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. Do you know what I mean? It's like it's just been fucking intense. But that is done. We hope you've enjoyed the series, and we hope that you look forward to. Of course, if you're not subscribed, you get that the week after, and you'll be getting Thor: Love and Thunder, I think, this week, aren't you? On Friday. That's a good episode. That is a good ep. So enjoy that one. Anyway, that's enough plugging. Should we get on to feedback, Matt?
Yes, we're going to start Simon Moorcraft. Evening all. I have to say I completely agree with David when he mentioned the fact that he can remember where he was when he was listening to a certain podcast episode. I work all over the place for my job, and I can remember which job I was when James created Mini Chief. Matt stole cereal for a child. It was from a child, actually. David apologised to Matt, James, and the listeners for being a dickhead when Johnny D left the show, and when Sean wanted to fuck 5 guys for his perfect birthday.
Hold on, James didn't create the Mini Chief, did he?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't think he did.
We put him up to it, but as usual, he's good in the moment, isn't he?
I mean, he did the voice, but he didn't create the Mini Chief. I believe that was a combination of me and Sean that created the character. James just did the voice acting.
He brought it to life. He illustrated it.
Yeah.
Licensed by, carried out by.
Make Mini Chief what it is. Thanks for all the pods and memories. P.S. There's a Wendy's in Maidstone.
Hey, everyone get down to Maidstone. Get those square burgers, boy. How long before we get some sort of sponsorship from Wendy's? We just get free burgers sent to our house.
I want to try Wendy's. Right. If they're all down south,
James,
that'd be annoying.
Do you want to tell Sean and Matt the burger that you had the other week?
Go on.
Oh, that was
ridiculous. We met up and James ate a burger. What was in your burger, mate?
It was called the All Day Breakfast Burger, and
I've got an idea about what we're going to hear now.
I mean, it was ridiculous, the size of the thing. I mean, I think it was like 2 burger patties, but then obviously sausages, eggs, hash browns, Like the whole thing, like in one thing, and it was ridiculous. I mean, it was one of those things where it's like, this is a knife and forks job. There's no way you're going to get your mouth around
This
this.
is an from Forks job.
Yeah.
Felt
Yeah,
ill
smash
the
it.
next day.
Yeah. Okay. Next.
Yeah, Ground Pound Graham. Thank you for the priceless bickering and bants during the recent Nintendo Direct talks over, especially between the two hosts sharing one mic. Given the spicy tension between them, I don't think I'm alone in wanting a TCGS version of the 2010 film The Trip. David could play Steve Coogan's role, and James could play Rob Brydon as they drive and smooch across northern England for a bit of fan service. Yum.
I'd love to do that.
Yeah, I
love
100%.
so much.
I would film and record and edit the whole thing. I would fucking love that.
Like
awful, isn't it?
we're mucking about, right?
It would be amazing. What are you talking about, James?
Like we said it jokingly, but I'm deadly serious. I genuinely think it's possible to do a live Twitch show with us on a narrowboat for a week, us living on a narrowboat for a week, yeah, fully live streamed, where we pull up outside a venue to do a live show. Like that's the TCGS.
So I'd be
one.
really
So
worried about doing that.
Everyone's watching it throughout the week, and then they buy tickets to go and see the live show. Buy a river, and our narrowboat pulls up,
Pulls in,
and we
I
get
see,
off.
yeah,
Music
yeah.
blazing, the theme tune blazing as we pull up in the boat. Is that what you do in a boat? Do you pull up, or do you? What do you do?
Yeah, you do.
More
For an anchor,
Yep.
isn't it?
Yeah, you have to you chuck the rope. One of the listeners can just grab it and pull us in. It'd be
There you
fine.
go. Chuck the rope.
Chuck the rope.
Don't sound too good though, is it? Chuck the
did
rope,
Four
James.
anchors on that boat. Yeah, I'll be
And,
well up
and
for doing that.
it pulls up, so everyone's like, "Oh, they've been doing this all week," and off we step to a crowd of thousands because it was like a snowball, Sean. It was only
Yep.
our usual sort of listeners, but then
Yeah,
it
yeah,
snowballed.
by the
Everyone
end.
was like, "Have you heard about these guys on a narrowboat?
yeah.
They're going to Kingston later."
Yeah, because
Get down to
what
Kingston.
she'll
They'll be like,
also
"Oh,
do is
what are
we'll be
they-
streaming it.
Yeah,
We'll
they're
be
streaming the whole
it
thing.
for-
What is it? Is it for charity or something? No. It's personal profit. It's the
No, they want to make money.
yeah. It's money and
yeah,
ego
of course.
basically. It's,
We'll be
yeah.
yeah, we'll be
But do you
streaming it, but
remember
also
Sorry,
Go
go on.
I said we'll be streaming it, but crucially not hearing about any news what's happening in the UK. So we'll unwittingly be going viral, not knowing
Like Big
about
Brother.
the boat. Like, hey, what's happening, guys? Like, you're the
another
biggest
planet.
stars on the planet.
but here's the thing. Last year, we thought playing Laser Quest and doing a live show was this wacky, wild idea that would never happen, and it fucking did.
And now
Sean.
look. Yeah.
Book the narrowboat. Book the narrowboat.
At least
I'll
not,
be
at
well
least
up
not
for
at the time of the year when there's mosquitoes, because I can't do that.
Yeah, but the rest of
Well,
the time of the year it's
rivers-
too bloody cold. So you
Yeah,
can't win.
most of the time, aren't they?
I prefer
I
the
like the
cold
fact that it's the most
mosquitoes.
feeble excuse for you not to do it. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh no, I'm not doing it. Mosquitoes. What the fuck?
Don't
You'll
like
do it.
mosquitoes.
Oh,
We've got this
No,
really
it's me telling you
exciting,
to
funny
do it.
idea. Oh, what about the mild discomfort?
It's not mild discomfort though, is it? You don't what it's like when you're
What
sitting
about the
around
irritation?
having them flying around like the whole time. It's very irritating.
James, if you're worried about being annoyed and irritated by something on that boat, don't worry about the mosquitoes, mate. Look at this guy right here.
Well, I know that's
Look at
that's
me.
a given. That is a given.
I'm going to be worse. No, I'm not a gibbon. I'm a human being.
That's not
Come on, that's old school. That right? Go on. Let's go.
It's like just on the narrowboat. Would we be going from the north to south? You know, how would that work? I feel like
Can we cross the
I don't think
north-south
that does work.
divide?
Is there a river that goes from north to south, Matt?
I mean, there's no, but
Well,
I'm saying like
Not to be picky. It'd have to be a canal, Dave, not a river.
Or a canal?
Don't
No,
Yeah,
is it?
calm down.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Why has it got to be a canal?
Canal because
So
they're
that's
the ones
the
that actually
boat
have
going
like towpaths and don't like flow naturally. As far as I may have made that up. to
But
be
I've
fair.
seen narrow boats going up and down the River Thames all the time, mate. So,
Well, they're reckless.
well, what's that then?
mean,
Is it
No,
the
you're probably right. They
Thames
probably
Canal?
do rivers as well. Yeah.
Yeah, they probably do, don't
Probably
they?
do. I've done a,
How
done a right Farley there,
dare
haven't
you? How dare you? Now, please remind us all, Sean. How many months of the year are mini eggs available again?
I? All of them, mate. Every single one.
I'm getting
available
flashbacks
right now.
over it.
they're available right now.
Yeah, no, we're aware of that. We're aware they're available now. There's no need
No,
to send any
I
more
don't-
photos of them on shelves,
We have
please.
not seen enough pictures sent to us. We're not. Family.
Go on then.
Alex79 UK, hello. I was listening to the brief chat about a potential Switch successor on the show this week and was surprised about how sure you were, or at least Dave in particular was, that it wouldn't be backwards compatible. Nintendo have a pretty good track record of this, especially with their handhelds. The Game Boy Color and Advance played original Game Boy games. The DS had a GB/GBA slot on it, and the 3DS played regular DS games. Then we had the Wii, which played GameCube games, the Wii U, which played Wii games. It's really only the Switch that hasn't had some kind of backwards compatibility in the last couple of decades. Anyway, fingers crossed. I think if they do go with the same form factor but more powerful for the Switch 2, it will have a huge shot in the foot not to allow us to play our Switch libraries on the thing. Anyway, thanks for the show as ever. After all these years, still a genuine highlight of my week. Cheers from Alex.
But that's
Alex
exactly
is
the point, isn't it?
absolutely right.
But that's exactly the point, though. That whole thing about shooting themselves in the foot. That's why they'll do it. It's like everything else will be exactly right, and then they'll do something that will make it.
I think they've
like,
just got a bad
no good.
reputation for it because their home consoles never do that, right? And also the digital libraries have never done that. You've never been able to
No, they
transfer
have.
your digital library across.
You could well, this is the thing. You could
But you had to
transfer.
pay for it.
Yeah, you could transfer the Wii stuff to the Wii U.
Yeah.
But there was
That's
an
right.
upgrade fee.
You
know,
had
for
to pay
each.
for it. Yeah,
Wait,
yeah.
was there?
See them doing that again.
Yeah, there was. I remember specifically that you had to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can see them doing that again. Actually, like doing something.
That
like
whole.
that.
Do you remember the transferring everything from the Wii to the Wii U thing?
Yes.
That was fucking
Yeah.
beautiful.
Isn't there an
That's
animation
so
of
good.
that?
So good.
It was that little.
how
It
does
was.
that work then? How did that work? Would you have to pay per title?
Yes.
How did? And that was from Wii U to Wii U. Is that how it worked? Your virtual console.
Yeah, from Wii to
moved
Wii U. Yeah, you could, but it wasn't even everything because they didn't do it. You know, they didn't. Not everything was compatible, I think. And then so you pay. I don't know how much it was. I can't remember. I really can't
I
remember
don't
how much
remember
it was.
paying anything.
I do
wasn't a
remember
huge
there
amount of
being
cash.
something like that, Sean. I do remember it was. Yeah, it was only like 17p or something stupid,
Right.
wasn't it? It wasn't a major amount. I don't even know if it was that. Maybe it was the DS to 3DS. Anyway, the whole marketplace has changed now. Like the percentage of people that have bought digitally for the Switch, I bet, is way higher than any other of their consoles, right?
Massively, yeah.
So I've just got a feeling that they can't get away with doing that again. I think they have to have that next console so that it brings over the Switch library. It's just.
Yeah.
It's Nintendo. It's Nintendo. How many times have we been here before and just gone, well, that's Nintendo, innit? They just do weird shit for no
make
reason to
bad
piss everyone off.
decisions. Yeah,
We're
yeah,
still going to buy it all. We're still going to buy it all. Do you know what I mean? It's crazy. All
I
right.
mean, I can fully see him just porting all the Switch games over to whatever the new console is.
Because I mean, they got away with that with the Switch because no one had a Wii U.
Exactly.
Whereas,
But then they
everyone's
did
got a
it. But
Switch.
then, to be fair, they did do it for the. Was it the Wii U they did it for, where they just bought loads of 3DS titles across?
That's right. Yeah, they did do a few. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it the other?
So,
No, it was the
I
other way
don't know.
around. It was no. Yeah,
That's
it was the other way
right.
around. It was
You're
Wii U games
absolutely
made
right.
into 3DS.
It was the Wii
yeah,
U
yeah.
games. The Wii U games they turned into 3DS games. That's how desperate they were.
Yeah, that was not a great period. That was when they started doing that.
No, go on.
I mean, we might get to that if we really genuinely are only halfway through the Switch's life cycle. Right.
Yeah, let's
Get to that.
next.
Do you reckon they'll release Mario Kart 8 again on the next Switch?
That's what it'll be called. That's what they'll call it. Mario Kart 8
Mario Kart
again.
8 again.
Yeah.
They'll do what Matt says. They'll just call it Mario Kart and then like release it.
It's like a platform. It's not like a.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll see.
Casper, love the show, fellas. Always my first podcast to listen to when it pops up on Wednesday. David mentioned about videos on social media where half the video will be like a game like GTA or the mobile game where it's like Temple Run, but train tracks. I feel this is the only thing I'm actually able to message in about because it's the only knowledge I have that could be seen as useful. Don't put yourself down, Casper.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
for
come on,
people
Casper.
with terrible attention spans. My partner is neurodivergent. She's autistic and has ADHD. Apparently, this is perfect for people to watch a boring video that's just dudes talking while being able to switch your eyes from that to the game, enabling some people to be able to watch it all without getting bored or skipping to the next video. Hope this helps. Love the show.
That's
Now-
scary, though, right?
Well, I was going to say because he's phrased it as if it's doing people a favour, but that's
Yeah, but that sounds like that could be taken advantage
Exactly,
of in
as
the
a-
most horrendous
as a-
of ways.
fellow ADHD goblin. That's preying on people who are neurodivergent, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's
that
going, oh,
does
good. We'll
feel
make
like
it even
that.
harder for you to get bored of this because we
Yeah.
know you'll be distracted
While we
and be like,
pump in
oh, fuck.
some real right-wing views into your eyeballs. The other one that I'm getting at the moment, what is that fucking game? It's like a attack the base game or something where you slide the character left and right.
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah.
all the videos and adverts for it was like, this is me reviewing fake games and exposing fake games. Oh no, wait, this one's actually real. And then the advert comes out and you're like, fuck you.
I'll see that not. It's very annoying.
It is very annoying, isn't it, Matt?
It's
Next.
a great game, though. It's not a fake game. I just want to say that.
I don't get these because I get German adverts all the time now because it's
Yeah?
switched to that and it's not the
What's
same.
your favourite German advert?
Yeah. Is it the same? They're like, oh, look at this fake game, but in German.
Generally, yes. Yeah, it is pretty much like
okay.
that
Well,
with
well,
more
Exactly
German.
the same advert.
That's added to the conversation. Right, next.
Ben's message. I'm sick and tired of hearing
I
that.
get the same adverts, but they're in German. Well, that happens when you live in Germany, James. Unless you've got anything interesting to say about that, mate, you probably keep that bit to yourself. Go on.
Yeah, this is from Ben. I'm sick and tired of hearing about stews each week. Everyone knows the best syllable, shortening of one name, is Ben. What has a stew ever done for us humans? Think of the great Bens, past and present, out there in the world. For example, Ben Folds, Ben Franklin, Ben Kingsley, Ben White, Ben Wishaw, Ben Stiller, Ben the moderator. Well, you're pushing me there. Ben Kenobi, Gentle Ben, and Bender. I know a couple of stews at school when I was a milk monitor, and when they were rude to me, I used to give them their milk glass so it was warm. Love you guys. This is from Ben, who wears boxer briefs with a pouch, size 10 and a half.
Nice.
Right, you're size 10. Everyone adds the half to try and sound like they got bigger feet. You're size 10. Secondly, why are Ben's getting involved in the stew feud?
It's getting a bit out of hand, this, isn't it?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
What a
Ben
weird
left out.
attack. And are the other Bens sitting there going, whoa, Ben, shut up, mate. We don't want to get involved with this.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't get dragged into a
Leave
name
it.
Don't
war.
want to
Leave it.
reignite the great Ben Stew wars of.
Of 1901. Yeah, that's scary, isn't it? Who knows what's going to happen now?
Classic Ben. That is it for feedback. Don't message us if you're Ben or Stu next week. But go to
You are banned from the show.
/ dear TCGS if you want to leave feedback, unless you're called Ben or Stu.
You can message in about other stuff. Just please don't incite any wars.
Yeah, what about Brian's?
I think it has to be one
What
syllable.
have we got? Brian's.
Is there any
Yeah?
Keiths listening?
Good old Keith. It's time for the news, James. Let's go.
Hello and welcome to the news. The Switch is
That's too
officially.
cheery, that one. That was
Well,
too
no, because-
cheery.
No, look, again,
Hello, and welcome to the news. I've got some cheeky stories for you
no,
today.
because the reason. Okay, we had the whole thing where, like, with what time of the day I was supposed to say, and I couldn't say good evening, I couldn't say whatever.
We didn't have that whole
We
thing.
never said you
how was
couldn't say
Do you
that.
remember that whole thing?
I know you never
Matt?
said. I know you didn't say I couldn't say that, but then I
Matt.
started to think it was weird to do that.
Matt, do you remember that whole thing where we said you couldn't say that at that time of the day? Because I
I don't think
don't.
there was a whole thing, no.
I don't think there was.
Well, I
a,
think
a
there
little
was a
thing.
whole
Even a part of a
It was
thing.
half of a thing.
Yeah.
Well, I think there was a thing, and so
all
that's
in
why I
your
said
little head, mate.
welcome instead, because I thought welcome's
All
nice.
right.
Can you say
Okay,
bong
go on
at the start of every story?
We've tried that before.
Did we?
We've
Yeah,
done that before.
worked.
Yeah, it lasted a week.
Oh, okay.
It did.
Go on.
I don't know if it worked. Okay, look, bong. Nintendo Switch is officially.
Brilliant. I don't know.
We didn't. You don't know why we stopped.
Yeah.
You don't know why
I
we
don't know.
stopped.
I don't know why we stopped.
Look who's doing it. Look
What's
who's
Right,
wrong
fair
doing
with
enough.
that?
Also,
What
to
is
be
wrong with
fair,
that?
we do occasionally read out some very serious stories, so it probably not
Oh,
appropriate.
that's
why.
Yeah,
That's
why.
exactly
Possibly,
why, yeah.
that
Yeah.
probably didn't. Go on.
I mean, it's
also,
a bit more.
we're coming back in about 5 minutes where James forgets.
We're a bit. No, it's all right. 'Cause we're a bit more upbeat this week, so it's like fine.
Okay,
so I
good.
think I can get away with it. So, bong. Nintendo Switch is officially the third best-selling console of all time.
Hooray.
So it's doing really well. It's sold like 122 million, which is
what are
pretty good.
What are the Wii and PS2? Are the other ones? No.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
it's
okay.
the PS2 and the Wii. So the
Oh, right, fair
PS2
enough.
is on 155 million and
Blimey.
oh no,
the Game
yeah,
Boy
yeah.
was up
No,
there.
no,
as well.
it's
Sorry,
the
no,
DS.
not the Wii, not the
It's
Wii.
the
It's
DS.
the
Ah.
it's the DS. It was
What
the
about
DS.
the Xbox?
Uh,
What about the
7.
Play-
stop
PlayStation 5?
stop it. Okay.
7. They sold 7 Xboxes.
Well, it turns out, actually, when I read it, they're actually the 15th best-selling console of all time. Sorry about that.
Either way, it was the PS2 and then the DS were the most successful ones. Yeah,
Cool.
and then the Wii was. I mean, it's beaten the Wii ages ago because that was only on 100.
Yeah, the problem was the Wii absolutely smashed it out of the park to start with, and then everyone
Yeah.
just realised that there was no games for it, so they just stopped buying that thing, right?
Yeah, pretty
Um,
much.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean, it's a very successful console. Very
Yeah.
excited to see
The next one.
what they do next.
Do you know?
Because for fuck's sake, they're not bothering with this one anymore, are they?
Do you know how many games they've sold though for the Switch?
Yeah.
26.
Blimmin' loads.
They've sold 994 million apparently games
Really?
for the Switch. Yeah.
Oh, is it me or does that seem low?
No.
Am I bad?
Almost a billion.
I thought they would have been over 1 billion.
Really?
Pick up the pace.
Okay.
Yeah, how many have they sold? How many have they sold of the consoles? 100 and...
122.
So less than 9 games per console. Yeah, that's not bad.
That's
I
not a
guess.
bad attach
good.
rate at all. Yeah, it's fine.
You forget that not everyone's
Alright.
like us. Some people
Yeah.
are
It's
not a
normal
bad
and only
attach
need a
rate.
couple of games.
What's the average attach rate then, James? You reckon?
I think they used to say it was about sort of 4 or 5 games for most.
He's
like,
plucked that
for-
out of his head.
I know,
He's
no,
plucked that out
that's
of
what
nowhere,
they used
that.
to say before.
They
Like how
used
that's what
to
it
say,
was.
who's
Yeah.
they?
Who's they?
All the
Who's
game
they,
like
James?
Games
Need
Master
names,
magazine.
James, we need names.
You know, like Total magazine. You know, Sega
That's a good
Pro.
magazine.
Those kind of things. You know, Mean Machine Sega. You know, they used to say those things.
Special reserve.
Yeah.
God.
So then also we did have a Nintendo Direct as well that we talked over. And they, I mean, I've got a thing here of all the games that they
Terrible.
That's the thing. I'm looking back at it though.
Doing this again, are we? Go on.
Was it terrible though?
Yeah.
Well, it was weird, right? Because obviously we reacted the way we did,
Yeah.
which I stand by. And then I went on Twitter. I was like, oh, everyone absolutely loved this.
Yeah.
What?
They did. People
How?
really loved it. They thought it was great.
What's there to love about it?
I
Well,
thought,
there was quite a lot of stuff announced. Like compare this with the Xbox One, where they had about
Yeah,
4
there was
games.
nothing
Yeah.
announced.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Well, except for that one game that looked really great.
Yeah,
and
but
then
I
they
feel
launched
like
it that
so
time.
like so much of the or so many of the headlines from this were re-releases, remakes,
Yes,
GBA
yeah.
stuff coming to virtual console.
expansion passes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which to me is a bit weak, but I don't know.
I mean,
Yeah, same here.
it's also I think it depends. Like if you're really into like GameCube era stuff, there's quite a lot here.
Yeah.
Like if you're interested in that, like you know,
Or manga games.
like the Bat and Kaitos stuff
Manga.
and all that. You know, that was popular with people.
I mean, like
Manga.
Ghost Trick is a big one. I mean, I know I haven't played it, and I know people listening will start throwing stuff around and screaming because apparently it's amazing. But some of you have played it and didn't rate it that highly. Is that right?
because it came out on DS, right?
Yeah.
And it also came. You see, I saw a lot of people saying everyone can play this at last, but then it's been out on like mobile as well, right?
Has
it was
it?
on
Oh, I didn't
iOS.
know
It was
that.
definitely out on iOS. I'm sure.
What's
have a
this?
look.
The Leighton.
No,
No.
Ghost Trick.
Ghost Trick?
Oh, Ghost
yeah.
Trick. Yeah, I thought it was overrated. Like, honestly, I've heard it's like a cult classic or whatever, but I remember playing it and just thinking, I just find this really dull and boring. But then maybe I was suffering from fatigue a little bit because, you know, I smashed through Leighton, but God knows how many
see?
Leighton's and what.
I mean, no one can
You've
see
got
that.
your blur
but
on,
it's-
we can't see it. And,
Yeah,
and
well,
we're doing
either
a
way,
podcast, James, so it's not helpful.
it is out on iOS at least. So you know.
Yeah, so maybe I was on fatigue because I played through Leighton, I played through God knows how many Ace Attorney games, and then that come, and it was like, oh, this is another a Trauma Center was another one, wasn't it? It was all that era of games where
Yeah,
they
but they were
weren't
all
similar,
quite
they all had
different.
their own thing.
Yeah, they were quite different. Yeah.
but they were still sort of mainly story. There was a lot of reading in all those games.
this
and
is-
I think I played that one and just thought, this isn't hooking me at all.
Yeah, because I mean, obviously, there was the announcement of the Professor Layton and the New World of Steam, which sounds a bit saucy, doesn't it? But
Hello.
I don't like I really like puzzles, and I really loved like the first Professor Layton, and then sort of ran out of steam with them. But yeah, I don't know if I'm fussed about a new one because I tried to play. What's the one that's on iOS where you play as his niece or something? And it just the amount of fucking dialogue I had to get through just to solve a puzzle was just infuriating. I just couldn't be doing it.
I'd love to do that
See,
first
that's
one
the-
again though. Is there a way of playing the original Professor Layton again?
Pretty sure it's on phones. Yeah.
Because
If
I
that
just
counts.
those old. I remember some of them were just like so ridiculous.
Okay.
It
You
was
see, the
just
thing
like-
is, if I'm going to play a game which is like a story kind of game, that's what I want. And I hate it when there's games like that and then the puzzles get in the way. Do you know what I mean?
Actually, I'm the
Yeah,
other
but
way.
Leighton wasn't
I'm the
like
other
that.
way. The
Leighton
story
was
was getting
more
in
of
the
a
way of
puzzle
my
than story.
lovely
It
love
isn't
of puzzles.
Yeah, that is
Sorry.
predominantly puzzles in that game.
Yeah, Leighton
Yeah.
was predominantly puzzles.
That's why I
think.
didn't like it. Because I preferred.
Oh, to be fair, I mean,
Right.
yeah, like saying the stories were crap or whatever, but like the twist in the first Professor Layton, genuinely good and quite unnerving.
Oh my god, that. Yeah. Oh, can we talk about that?
Probably shouldn't. I don't know.
Okay.
Should we? I don't-
Fucking hell! I hate the fact that we can't talk about games that come out fucking 20 years ago.
Well, you're talking about
worried
replaying
about
it, and that might.
people.
The only reason I'm saying we shouldn't is because you just mentioned replaying it, and I felt like there's going to be other people going, "Yeah, actually, I should probably
Yeah, I might
finally
do
play that."
Spoiler bot. We need to ring up Spoiler bot again. It's
We
been
do,
God knows how long
But
since
it's
we
my
spoke
edit
to
this
that
week,
guy.
and I don't want to.
Well, that's the problem. That's why it stopped. Okay, cool.
So what should we do with this? Do you want to go through any more of these, or should we just move on to the
should
next
we
story?
we do highlights, right?
Yeah, with the big, we've kind of talked about the big stuff, right?
I
Well,
suppose-
yeah,
I mean, there was obviously
highlights.
more Pikmin 4 footage. Sure as hell looks like Pikmin, but I'm all right with that. I'm up for a new Pikmin.
The thing is, Pikmin's the sort of game, right? Like, I enjoyed Pikmin 3, and Pikmin would be the sort of game that traditionally I would go, do you know what? Not that pumped for it, but I'll wait for it until it drops in value, and there's a quiet period. And but it won't drop in value,
No, of
and
course it
that's
won't.
why I'm kind of
Never.
like, okay, well, I'm probably never going to play that again then. So you had that. You had the announcement with the Game Boy and Game Boy Advance stuff coming to.
Yep.
Has anyone tried this stuff out?
Yep. I played some of that. Yeah.
Yeah. Have a
See,
quick
do you
go.
know what's bad, right? I've got access to those games, right? To that virtual console stuff or whatever you want to call it. But I was looking at that trailer going, oh yeah, I might try that out on my Mii Mini. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Well, this is
that's
it.
the problem.
Yeah. But like, yeah, I mean, the games they've picked, like, it's pretty slim selection at this point. But like, they've put, if you're jonesing, because obviously, we've got a few months till new Zelda. They've got all the Capcom Zeldas on there.
Yeah.
So you got Oracle of Ages, Oracle of Seasons on the original Game Boy, and then the Minish Cap. They're all really good, and like they hold up. So they're well worth a look, if nothing.
Yeah, I
else.
thought it was slim pickings, but I thought what they actually showed were really, really good quality. They weren't
Yeah.
out. Like,
Also-
actually, they've got loads of bangers in that first selection.
I was reading today that the Game Boy Advance emulation is apparently excellent as well.
Yeah.
Like, it's supposed to be very good.
Passed
Like,
some weird
all the
tests
tests.
that they
Yeah,
use.
like-
Yeah.
like
Get
the
some
big-
more Tony Hawks on there, please. Absolutely, I used
Right.
to love it in the Game Boy.
Sorry, Ben
Okay,
just pointed
so
out
what
the Oracle
else?
games aren't available yet.
Yeah, it's later. Yeah.
So never mind. Play Minish Cap.
And also the big announcement really was the Metroid Prime Remastered, but we're going to be talking about that later in the show anyway. Other than that, lots of enemy games.
Well, no, I mean, yeah, I think the other two big things were obviously we got a release date finally for Advance Wars 1 and 2. That's coming in
Yeah.
April. Finally, after
Oh, and
a big old delay.
yeah, and confirmation of the We Love Katamari re-roll as well, which I'm well up for because that is my personal favourite Katamari game and is still only playable on the PlayStation 2. So yeah, really excited for that to come out. To be fair,
And then
But,
we
you
also
know-
had the final Tears of the Kingdom trailer as well.
Exactly, yeah, we had a big old
yeah.
Zelda, which looks excellent. Gets me
This
more
was
pumped.
the best direct ever.
yeah, actually.
No, I came away just thinking this is terrible. So, and I stand by that. So
What was
fuck all you guys.
the Mickey Mouse game? I can't see it in the list. Where is it?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, the sort of co-op. Nah, that looked
Disney
pretty
Illusion
good.
Island looked
Yeah,
amazing.
that
Yeah,
looked
Dish Illusion Island. Yeah.
That's-
I might
But
play
no,
through
I
that with
thought the
Power.
new Zelda trailer looked really good. I mean, I've kind of been, getting gradually less pumped over weeks and months. It's been a long old time. I wasn't sure if there'll be a delay. I'm like worried about the hardware, but no, that was a good trailer. It got me excited again. There's a really good, I wouldn't say it's really expensive collector's edition out there, but it's only got some pins and the poster and maybe a book. I'm not sure if I really want to get it, but also it's sold out everywhere, I think, already. But no, that definitely got me pumped about the game, and I'm excited now. It's not long. It wasn't. I thought we'll get a delay, but we didn't. So
See, the thing is, looking at this list, like we went through this, it's true for us. Maybe there's not a lot of really great stuff on here. There's not really like a huge amount to look forward to. But for some people are really excited by a lot of this
I
stuff.
don't care what some people
No,
think.
just hear me out, okay?
I want me.
People are really into Etrian Odyssey and all that, all that sort of stuff, that's coming out. This is not quite the same as the end of the Wii U's life, where there was really nothing coming out.
No,
Like,
but
at
then
least,
no one bought the Wii U. They can't just let this completely die.
Yeah.
But you want to see Mario and that.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's not going to happen.
Where's
Um,
the new Mario?
Have they brought out a Mario tennis game for this Switch?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it
they
was,
did.
yeah.
Yeah,
Didn't they?
wasn't
Was that any good?
Wasn't that good? It was all
There was
right.
that.
Ah,
There was a golf one as well, wasn't there, that came out?
There was
Wasn't
golf
there?
one.
there
That
was a
wasn't
golf
very
one.
good.
Yeah, that was terrible. Yeah.
sorry,
Yeah.
James, you were saying it's never going to happen. Were you implying there's not going to be a new 3D Mario on the Switch?
No, I did. I said, okay, I don't think it's going to happen yet. I don't think. Although, actually, I'd probably say there probably isn't going to be another 3D Mario for this Switch.
Wasn't that one of your predictions that there was
Yeah, I
going to be?
thought it was going to be a 2D
Mario.
A 2D
Oh,
Mario.
that
Yeah.
was 2D,
coincide
2D
with the
Mario.
film.
Okay.
'Cause that's
Do you
All
think?
right.
I mean, obviously the movie's out this year. Blah blah blah. All that. All the eyes on Mario. Do you think we're just not going to get a new Mario this year? It feels like it's a slam dunk, but also they don't need.
It feels like they would have announced it at that direct
Yeah.
if they were going ahead with
I
it.
think they would have done.
Yeah. I think it feels like now that direct's over, I don't think they will bring one out. We might get one later in the year, but I don't think we're going to get one that coincides with the film.
Game, like all the focus right now is on Zelda, like rightfully so. Once that's out, maybe they'll be like, okay, here's what's coming in the second part of the year.
Yeah, but they're not going to go. The film's out in April, like
Yeah.
it's weeks away now.
But also, I mean, Holiday 2023 is probably going to be like a Pokemon game or something. That's what it'll be.
No,
What
they
happened
won't do
last
Pokemon
year?
for Holiday 2023.
Well,
They've
well,
got
last year, didn't they?
Yeah,
I
that was last year.
Yeah,
It's
we
gotta be
had
something
two
else,
Pokemon
right?
games last year. Both, well, I mean, Arceus was technically a bit wonky, and then we were like, oh, that's because they're putting all the development effort into Scarlet and Violet, and then they came out and were even worse.
What's
But that doesn't
gonna
matter 'cause
be-
that's all like 20 million, didn't it? In
Well, yeah,
Exactly, yeah.
Number of
What's
weeks.
going to be their Christmas game?
You know what? Okay, we'll know for certain that the Switch is nearly at the end of its life when they start saying, "Oh, we're going to release a Star Fox game." That's when you know that they're right at the end.
Hang on,
Is-
that new
that's the
Star
end.
Fox might be really good.
Yeah, out of all of that.
Yeah.
Although to be fair, when was the last time Star Fox was any good? The N64, right?
Yeah, the N64 version was the.
A
I know
long time ago.
the Switch-
Yes, one was alright.
I know we think the Switch is coming to the end because the quality of the hardware and whatnot, but we know we've got at least 3 years of this.
Yeah,
Yeah, but Matt, this is Nintendo. It's what they do. They slow down because they're all moving on to the next thing, and they go, just leave that a bit, right? It's still selling away, and they'll move on to the next thing. It's what they've done like every time.
the game that I'm fascinated about now, especially after what happened with this direct, is Metroid Prime 4. Like, what's happened to
That's
that?
not going to
Yeah,
come out.
what's going on with that?
That will
I mean,
not
I
come to
think-
console. No way.
That's going to be a launch for the next
Yeah,
console,
launch for
isn't
the
it?
new one. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's going.
We'll see. All right.
So then the other thing that came out from this whole direct was the pricing of Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah, but just leaked before, didn't it, in the day?
Yeah.
that it was going to be like $70 in America, and then
So hold on. So yeah, go on, sir.
I mean, it turns out that the price in the UK is £60, so it's like $59.99. It seems.
So is that more than what a standard? I thought they were always £60.
No, they're like 50, aren't they? Aren't they like $49.99? Is the standard Switch price?
Right,
For first party Nintendo stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was 60.
I don't think
Which is
so.
obviously no one
I thought it was-
actually
Did you not
pays that.
research his story?
Because they all go
Or-
to shop 2 instead and pay less. But
I thought the story was. I thought the reason why this was a story is that all of the rumours going into this was that it was going to be £70.
No, the rumours
No,
that it was going to be
Yeah,
$70.
$70. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. But in the UK, that was going to translate to £70. That's
think
what
that was
the
just
story
people
was.
I think everyone
assuming that's gonna
assumes.
be- Yeah.
I mean, yeah, the big thing is that it's gone up at $10 in America. Everyone then assumed, well, if it's 70 over there, like PlayStation 5, it'll be 70 over here. So it was a nice surprise. It was only 60. I don't know whether that is more or less than it is currently. A lot of these games, but yeah, in America
That's what
they
I'm
have.
saying. I'm
they
pretty
have had
sure
a
the
hit.
standard is $59.99 over it for
I don't
Switch
think-
games, but I could be wrong.
Actually, I think you're right because no, you're not. No, it's I just had a look here. Oh, wait a minute. No,
I'm up.
I'm
down.
I'm just
I'm up
having a
again.
look. I'm just
Yes.
having a look on the
Hello.
UK store. For what these costs and everything. And if you look at Breath of the Wild, it's $59.99 on here, although it's on discount for $41.99 at the moment. But so
generous
that's
of
the
them.
same price.
Well, look, I mean, you could buy it for £50
Let's try
from
Mario
Shop 2. They're
Odyssey.
already sending the messages out to buy it for like 49 or 48 quid or whatever it is.
Yeah,
No,
yeah, shop
It's
two.
the starting price for Nintendo first party games is $49.99.
Right, okay, so this is £10 more expensive.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is their way of upping the price, which is what,
Yeah,
everyone
that's-
seems
But
to be
then-
doing with everything at the moment.
They have also said now that this is not like all first party games are going to be this price going forward.
Oh, okay.
just the ones.
I mean,
they can
yeah,
get
just
away
ones
with.
we
It's
can
the
get
ones
away
they
with.
know
Ones they
everyone's
can get
going
away
to
with,
buy. Yeah.
Just the ones that think, hang on, everyone's going to want to buy this. We'll
Yeah.
smack up another tenner. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. I've still got my reservations about this game, but we'll see. We'll see.
But yeah, I mean, I guess for those in America who are going to pay the full 70, like that must be a great kick in the teeth. Because I found that's like because maybe they've seen Sony do it with PlayStation. They're like, well, even though it is like a 6-year-old hardware, we can do it because it's our big game. So it's a bit of a kick in the teeth. But also they're a business. I can see why they would probably try and get
at the moment. What isn't? You know.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, the other thing about this, which was the other bit, is that it's the game size is much bigger than Breath of the Wild, like in terms of gigabytes.
Yeah, but they've already made half of it. This is already added the sky stuff.
What sort of gig are we talking here, boy?
So this is like 18.2, whereas Breath of the Wild was 14.4.
That is tiny compared to modern standards, isn't it?
It
Well,
is.
the biggest game, one of the biggest games on the Switch is NBA 2K23, which is 53 gig. On the Switch.
That is quite big actually. But like if I was to see a game on my Xbox download for 18 gigabyte, you think is this a demo or
it's a patch, isn't it? That's like a patch for most games.
It's a patch, yeah, that's crazy. Okay, fine, that's enough.
Okay, next story is that EA are doing a deal with the Premier League.
Yeah.
Have you noticed he's already forgotten the bongs? We've only not even made a full episode.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I said.
Sean's
That's what I
just
said. Sean was
leaving.
like, wait 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Just
Oh,
leave
it
it,
took.
mate.
Gone.
Failed. I failed. It's just like,
That's not like you. Go on.
just fuck off.
Hey, sorry, you don't have to. It's just funny.
No, add a bong, James. Go on.
Bong.
got
EA
bored.
strikes big money deal with English Premier League after losing FIFA name. Yes, that's the full title.
Well, we knew this was going to happen, wasn't it? The Premier League weren't going to give up that money.
Yeah, so they've signed a new 6-year deal, which is apparently worth £488 million, and
Wow.
this is so that they get all the stuff.
Double the previous deal as well, so they're loving it.
So they've lost. So like EA Sports FC obviously doesn't have access to the World Cup anymore, but it's still doing deals with all these other
They
leagues.
don't
and
have to
everything.
worry about that for a few years, do they?
No,
And
that's-
honestly, they could just create a nation cup or
That's-
something.
yeah, that's
within
almost
it. That's
certainly
what they're
what's
going to do.
The Nations League.
Yeah, it's FIFA as an organisation must be fuming that they've lost out on this. Like honestly, as you said, it's like it's weird that they seem bigger than FIFA the brand, but I mean,
It's fascinating to me that FIFA didn't have, like, they weren't already working with like another developer or publisher or whatever to
they're
produce
insanely
something
arrogant,
similar.
Sean. This is not surprising for us, is it? Right? In fact, actually, I think going into when the stories were coming out about this, like when it was all building up, James and I and Matt, we were like, well, FIFA will give in eventually. They'll push it as long as they can, but there's no way they don't want to do this. Because even then, we're thinking they're not that arrogant enough to think that they don't need. And they really are. And we're going, fucking hell, they really... I mean, this is... And when they put out that statement about, well, we're going to create the only FIFA game and it's going to be the
They're
best
going to do a load of
game.
NFT mobile games and they're going to be just as good, actually.
You can totally see them saying like, it's just a video game. How hard can it be?
Yeah.
It's just those bits and bobs, isn't it? Bits and bytes.
Just copy it and paste it from last year's.
Yeah, I'm so excited, and I'm gutted we haven't had an announcement yet from FIFA, the football organisation, saying here's our game, because I cannot wait to see how bad that is going to be. And look, and then they're like, oh,
here's what I think will happen. Here's what I think will happen. Right, EA will never go back to FIFA. I think that's done.
Yeah,
I think they will bring out a game. FIFA will bring out a game. It will be an insane flop.
Do you reckon?
And then they will, and then I think maybe eFootball, Konami will try and get the license very, very low. Yeah, see it working out now. Yeah, I think the price of that name to get it into a football game is going to drop significantly.
I'll tell you what, though, I could still see the World Cup, like FIFA World Cup, still being in EA Sports FC or whatever. Like them, like having to buy.
Well, they'll sell that as a separate license.
Yeah, as like a.
Oh,
like
that'd be funny, wouldn't it?
I can fully see them happening the other way, whereby after 2 years of FIFA not making a game and EA Sports FC being incredibly successful, because you almost certainly will be. FIFA will be like, actually, how about we do something, but it's a lot cheaper. I that's what's going to happen, because then they're not going to be losing out millions or billions potentially. I don't know what the revenue split was like, but lots, because they haven't got a game ready.
The licenses and all that sort of stuff is really fascinating. I'd like to. It's really boring, but I'd like to hear like a podcast series on it, because do you remember when Ibrahimovic just turned around and said, well, actually, I'm not getting a penny from being in their game, and they're digitally like they've made me in the
Yeah.
game, and they've called me my name,
Yeah.
and so where's my money then? And I think he just said, well, I'm not in it. Like, don't put me in it, and he wasn't in it for a year or whatever. But like, that is fascinating that EA for the past God knows how are making money hand over fist, like by having all these real people in the game. They're not characters, they're real people in the game, especially even in the lower leagues and all that sort of stuff.
But there
It's
must
crazy.
be. I know, but they must be paying. They're paying for
Yeah.
that. Like they're
Yeah,
definitely paying for it.
so they are, but they're paying an organisation.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the thing.
I
Yeah.
can't.
Players
There
aren't
was an
seeing any.
Is it
organisation called something like Player Likenesses
it's like
or something.
FIFA Pro or something? Like it's
Yeah, something like that. But
Yeah.
it doesn't. It's not got all the members in it. It's all really sort of shady when you deep down, like when you dig down into it a little bit. But yeah, FIFA Pro. That's right. It's yeah, it's madness really. But okay.
Yeah. Anyway, next story. Bong. Double Fine has teamed up with Two Player Productions for its Double Fine Psych Odyssey, which is an unprecedented documentary experience 7 years in the making. So basically, this is a documentary of the development of Psychonauts 2.
I mean,
And-
it's somewhat precedented given that they did it before for Broken Age.
Yeah,
I
but
know
this
it's not
is-
your wording, James. It's the one you're reading out. But
This is nuts, though.
but yeah, this is
like
I'm so
this
excited.
I don't know
is-
if you've seen any of this, but this is the quality of the documentary is unbelievable.
Did you watch the
And-
Broken Age one?
No, I didn't. I didn't watch the Broken
Really
Age one.
fucking
But
good.
that was what? That was like 2 hours worth, right?
No. That
About
was
2
that
hours
was like
long,
30 odd episodes. It was really long.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. Okay.
So it covered
Okay.
the
Fine.
whole development. But I mean, even then, that was like, I don't know, that was something like 3 years development, start to finish. So obviously, this is 7 years, and obviously, it's going to cover COVID at some point. That's going to be really weird. Like obviously, watching the whole thing and knowing that is coming. And I think I'm gonna. I don't know how they handle it. I've only seen a bit of this so far. But yeah, what is it? Is it 30? Yeah, 32 episodes. So it's about 20 plus hours.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's going to be really weird getting to like late 2019 and just being like, oh fuck, it's coming.
Yeah. We can see what's happening. It's like I will say is that I was more. Tim Schafer clearly does not concerned about how he comes across in this, because obviously he's very well liked by the public and all, but seeing him stand in front of his team in the development of Psychonauts 1 saying, come on, we all love crunch, right? Come on, crunch is the time, everyone, I want to hear you say I love crunch. And like in this day and age, you're looking at that going, fucking hell, man, that is, because again, we spoke about crunch and stuff before, but someone, like, there's shots of people in the studio sleeping in sleeping bags, at their desk, and you're going, someone's getting incredibly rich off of you doing that, and it's not you. Do you know what I mean? Like that's the problem I have with this stuff.
I suppose
and then there's also a bit where he's just like, I didn't agree with the level designer, so and he sort of says, oh, I don't know if I want to have this on like the thing, and he goes, well, I just fired them all. And it wasn't a nice thing to do, but I had to just fire everyone. And it was like, fucking hell, man. Yeah, like,
So
he's got to make those decisions. Not everything can be Tim Schafer walking around going, bibbity bobbity boo, guys.
Yeah.
Got this funny line for you.
So presumably
yeah,
also
it's,
this covers like the whole Microsoft takeover as well, like the
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
it
it
do,
does. It was in the trailer. It's in the trailer, that stuff. So,
That
yeah,
must be quite interesting.
That's going to be really fascinating to see how that goes down.
It's
Here's-
interesting. Like in the Broken Age one, there's bits of Tim like having to be a manager, having to be a boss.
Right.
But it's interesting. There's bits where like people undermine him like on purpose. There's this bit where like this one of the audio editors like shows Tim like the latest cut of like a trailer, and Tim's like, this bit's weird, I don't like this bit, this needs changing, and he walks out, and then like the guy behind the camera's like, oh, so you're gonna do it, and he's like, no, Tim does this all the time, like I'm just gonna leave it and he's not gonna notice when he sees it again. Just stuff like that. It's really interesting.
Because you've told me countless times, Sean, to watch it because I backed backed the game on Kickstarter, but I was never. And I know I backed it. I mean, the game seemed fine, but I really want to see a documentary series. I just never.
Well, this is
never
it,
found
yeah.
time or
Like,
made time to do it.
this is what I found so fascinating about the Broken Age one, because, like, I thought Broken Age was very good. I had loads of problems with it, but because I had seen every step of it being made, I'm like just seeing details in the game and just think, oh shit, I remember when so and so like added that, or this discussion happened and this got made and da-da-da. And it was absolutely fascinating, and it made me wish like this was a thing that could be done for like every game, because you would find every game fascinating, right?
Yeah, totally. Do you know what I thought when I was watching it?
Mhm.
I'm kind of surprised. I don't think this is a good idea. I don't think it's a good idea. But I'm kind of surprised that this is not being touted as a Game Pass thing.
Mm.
Do
yeah,
you know?
should it be on your like on your Xbox dashboard? Like, hey, come and watch this. Like,
they
You mean
did
like an
this,
extra?
and they did yeah, sort of like not a
Like DVD extra kind of thing.
well, no, it would. Well, hear me out. So, they did this, and they did the start of the Xbox. They did that whole Xbox anniversary.
We never
done
watched it,
Xbox
did we?
as well.
We talked over it at one point.
Yeah, yeah. Apparently, it's brilliant, and I
Yeah,
watched
it's
like
great.
the first maybe 2 episodes, and I thought it was fucking excellent. And I just thought Microsoft have been itching to get into the media side of things alongside. You know, they've been itching to do that. And I just think it's their companies, right? Like, sticking them on YouTube, it's not like they're selling these documentaries. Sticking on YouTube, you kind of think, I'm really surprised they're not going, hey, look at all these cool documentaries we're now making for Game Pass. Like, I don't think it's a good idea. I don't think it's the right thing to do. But I do look at that and go, wow, that's not the Microsoft I think.
I think that's what I'm wondering about with this though, because if this was signed and like started before the takeover, like how much of this was already like it's all contracted, it was all definitely going to happen.
well, this is
Whereas,
it. And
After
you know,
Microsoft take over, would they maybe not?
Yeah,
want
and like
to do this?
Tim Schafer has said, and I don't know to what extent this is turning out to be true, but when the purchase took place, he was like, oh yeah, we've been told to just carry on as we are, like we're not being interfered with. But yeah.
That's gonna be fascinating to see.
It is.
But like that's like when you look at that, I know deals were made before Microsoft took over, but again, Microsoft made their own Xbox One. So I mean, even looking at that documentary, you'd be surprised it's not on there. Yeah, but you'd think that they would see this as a way of moving into their own video production stuff that they could stick on Game Pass.
I think they got
kind of
so
glad
bad
that
they
they
kind of
did
think, yeah, it's good, but no, like that. If
Well,
it
that's
was
it.
announced, they're like, we're doing TV stuff. Everyone's like, whoa, you've learned nothing.
Yeah, that's it. And then I think that would be the main reason why they wouldn't do that, is because of their reputation that they're trying to focus Xbox on games now, and they don't want to be seen trying to move into other media spaces. So maybe that's it.
Plus, like, and again, going by the Broken Age one, like there are plenty of bits in that are unpleasant, right, and not nice, and everyone says like Tim has said he wants everyone to see how the sausage gets made. So I imagine that this is going to be the same. There's going to be bits where it makes game dev look awful. So maybe for that reason, Microsoft don't necessarily want to push this. I don't know.
See, that's what I would be wondering as well, because like you said, like Microsoft did their own one, right, for Xbox, like to show, but then I can't imagine that was particularly went into anything that was not so great, like about the whole process of like, creating the machine, all that kind of stuff. Whereas this kind of documentary, it's a risk, like putting something like this out. And a company like Microsoft, they're not really into that kind of risk, like as in potential reputational damage and, that kind of thing. That's why I think.
But this is out there anyway.
But that's what I'm saying. But then I wonder if this was signed before Double Fine were bought by Microsoft, and so this still had to go through.
I don't know.
Anyway.
You want to watch it? Have you watched the Xbox documentary?
No, and that's why I'm wondering.
I mean,
that's what I'm
it's
saying.
similar sort of risk there, and they made that themselves.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's a calculated risk. Like, I mean, like, if, regardless of what deals were made before, if Microsoft bought them, they could have said, "Well, this isn't happening." I mean, plenty of games have been shut down after being made when they've been acquired.
They could just pay people off. Yeah,
it's a calculated risk. Yeah. Therefore, it's a great opportunity for people to see the other side, and it shows them to be a bit more human. Yes, there's as with all any documentary, there's like sides which are uncomfortable and stuff, but that's what makes a good documentary.
I'd love to know how financially it works, because I can't imagine there's a big audience for a 20-hour documentary series on the making of a single game. Like, I'm sure it'll get a lot of people watching. I'm going to watch it all, but I can't imagine the audiences are big enough to get any return on the amount that's spent on producing something like that. It's crazy. And as I said, it's clearly been worked on. There's clearly a lot of work involved. Like it doesn't seem like an amateur.
I do find all this fascinating.
Production and also, this won't be cheap, but they probably thought, why not? It's a good opportunity for people to see the real side.
It's a bit like with like with the football ones that you get, like the All or Nothing series and things like that. It's like it is a risk though, and like doing something like that of how you're going to come across
absolutely.
and all that kind of thing. It's quite
Anyway, it's interesting. It's all free. It's all on YouTube. It's 32 episodes. It's a long old thing, but I'd recommend it if you've got any sort of interest in game development, because
I think even if you just play games, right? I think it's it's important. Like, like I've seen like Phil Spencer in interviews has talked before about how like he really firmly believes that like every game ever made is like a miracle, right? Because game dev is just fucking so hard. And he's like, everything you've ever played, from the tiniest game up to the biggest one, like took loads of work, and that should be celebrated more. And that's what these documentaries do, even though they show the ugly side of it. So
people in the chat, Phil Wall and Scientologist saying, should I play Psychonauts 2 before watching the documentary or not?
You should play it.
Play a little bit of Psychonauts 2, but
you should play it anyway. It's great.
Well, this is it. I think like because with Broken Age, because with Broken Age, it was kind of, you could play a bit of it and then it ended at part 1, and then it's like, right, now I can watch episodes 1 to 18 of the documentary and not have anything spoiled, right? And then you sort of carry on. But then Psychonauts 2 is a better game. Like, I think just play Psychonauts 2 anyway, because it's fucking brilliant. If you find you're running out of steam with it for any reason, then I guess feel free to put it on the shelf and then watch the documentary. But I would assume the documentary is going to spoil stuff for you.
Yeah, so the documentary is called Psych Odyssey. That's what it's called, all one word. But just search Double Fine on YouTube if you want to find it. Yeah, it's all up there. Right.
Okay. Bong. Final story. So Mario Kart Live Home Circuit developer is making a Hot Wheels mixed reality racer. So this is Velen Studios, who did Mario Kart Live and all that kind of stuff. And
it really does look like they had a load in a shed, and they were like, "We'll get the paintbrush."
I think you'll find this is completely different, Dave.
They look so similar. These little parts, don't they?
It's called Hot Wheels Rift Rally, and it's coming out on PS5, PS4, and iOS on the 14th of March. And
PS5?
Apparently, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway,
how's it connect? No, I'm just thinking, how's it connect to the? Because
Wi-Fi.
It connects directly to the Switch with Bluetooth, right?
No. No, you might be right. Actually, no. I think it uses Wi-Fi.
It does use Wi-Fi, so it's going to connect through Wi-Fi. But then again, the biggest problem with the Switch, the home circuit, was that actually the range wasn't that great at all, right? And you had to be pretty damn close to the cars. So when you've got a fixed, maybe they've just got better Wi-Fi receivers on the PS5 or whatever.
One would hope. I'm not going to buy this. Like, I've got the Mario Kart 1 and that barely gets used now.
Are you serious, Sean? This has got Sean Bell written all over it.
It has got Sean Bell written all over it, but it's, well, for starters,
I'm proud of you, Sean.
I haven't got a PlayStation at the moment. I've only got an iPad.
Oh my god, I would love it. This is the thing. We've had God of War, we've had Last of Us, we've had like Horizon, Elden Ring, whatever. Like this is the game that's going to break Sean's head. This is the system seller.
Honestly, when I did see this and I saw what it was coming out, I could imagine Sean like reading through all the things and getting really hyped, and then seeing PS4, PS5, going, for fuck's sake.
It's on iOS. Yeah. You can play it on your iPad.
I could play it on the iPad, but I just think that would be a pretty rubbish experience.
Sean, you've made the right decision. Don't listen to them. These two are the worst people.
Sean, buy a PS5 persuading him to buy anything.
Buy a PS5 for this, Sean. It will be the best art story ever.
Don't listen to him, Sean. Absolutely not.
I can't afford one. It's fine.
It's better than that.
mixed reality game. Yeah, I'm buying it.
So what does look cool about this is it knows when like the car goes up a ramp, for example, and like it'll do tricks and shit on the screen. So like there are improvements, but I mean not enough to justify 120 quid plus a PS5. So yeah, cool, but I'm all right, thank you.
Oh, this would have been if I know. This would have been like a prediction when Dave said, "I predict James to get a PSVR." I predict Sean will get this game before the end of the year. So, Sean, like, what were the major issues of home circuit that this probably could fix? Was it the fact that you can go too far without breaking
It was
reception?
just the range, yeah. Like my house is not massive, and it struggled to reach like one end of the living room to the other. So just that's the main thing.
It's also
Did you have it, James?
Yeah, Asher had it. Yeah, I mean, I barely played it though because he played it a bit and then got bored of it quite quickly and wasn't really that interested. I'll tell you what's a shame with that is the way that they didn't put like obviously because it's expensive, but they didn't put like 2 carts in the pack would have been good. If you could just at least race each other, that would have been fun. But you couldn't do that, which was a bit annoying.
This has only got 4 mixed reality gates, so it sounds like even the circuits won't be that complicated either. I mean, how would you get in a Mario Kart one?
It's only 4 with a Mario Kart one, and you can you can design
drive
the track
between
however
them,
you
don't
want.
you?
It's just obviously the only requirement is that you pass through the gates.
Oh, okay, okay. So
yeah.
So you can't be complicated tracks. Are just those are just there for checkpoints. That makes sense.
All right.
Cool, Sean.
That's the end of the news.
Right, time to get on to what you've been playing. I'm interested to hear about Metroid Prime Remastered because James and Matt have been playing it, and this was announced this week and launched that evening. £35, which I looked at and thought it's a bit much.
I mean, I was actually surprised. I reckon they could have. I reckon Nintendo would usually have done like 45 or 50. I was like, 35 is actually reasonable.
Not 50. They couldn't get away with 50.
Yes, they could. They absolutely could.
I mean, this is because I suppose that
I
haven't played this, but I suppose the first thing
Nintendo.
they address is they've called it Metroid Prime Remastered. However, I've seen everyone saying this is much more like a remake than a remaster.
Yeah,
It's quite substantial.
Well, all I've seen is the repeated story of the original devs going, "I don't like those doors."
Oh yeah.
Also, I mean, you heard the thing about with the original devs as well. They've been left out of the credits as well, which is
really?
awful.
Oh, that's quite
okay.
shit.
Yeah.
Let's slow down. James, you obviously did you play through this all the way through when it originally came out?
Yes, on GameCube, yeah.
And Matt, you never played it for a second.
No, I don't believe I did. No.
So I think I want to start with Matt and what Matt. How far in are you? How you finding it?
I'm only like an hour and a bit in. I mean, I'm on the surface. That's all,
What was the last thing you collected, Matt? Like the last power up?
I've just got the first one because you lose all the power ups in your suit, don't you? So whatever that first one was, I can't remember. I think the main plasma gun, whatever it is. I don't know. So I've only got the first one. So I've barely really played it, sadly. Yeah. I'm enjoying it. So yeah, having never played this before, and again, I played the original Super Metroid, didn't really kind of get on with it, but I absolutely love Metroid Dread. What this does, and what I'm sure people loved in the original day, was the atmosphere is just again dripping off the page. Like it's just the music, and it's like the way even like going into a new environment. It's kind of you feel really claustrophobic. I'm not sure if it's their criticism or something you feel, James, but
that's yeah. Go on.
What?
Sorry, go. No, because that's
like you feel quite low down.
Yeah.
Like at first, I was trying finding settings. I wasn't sure if Samus felt short or if it's just you felt kind of constricted or claustrophobic in the suit, but you feel like you're wearing a big old suit of armor. I don't know how they managed to communicate that. Maybe I think personally the camera feels really low. I'm not sure if you felt that.
It's okay. So this is one of the things I've got written down as well, because this is one of the things that I really like about this game, because the fact that you really do feel like you're wearing like this suit, like you're wearing like especially the helmet, because it's because of the UI, because like the actual field of view that you have is not as big as it would be in most like 3D, like
Yes,
first person games, because there's all like the HUD stuff on there and all that, but also you get this real feeling that you've got like a helmet on because you've got like a visor like over it, which then gets affected by environmental conditions and everything as well. So it does totally feel very claustrophobic.
Yeah, you feel very claustrophobic.
But that's by design. Like that's completely, I'm certain, like by design.
It's really well done because however
why
they've
are
done
you
it.
smiling, David? Why are you laughing about that? You think this is just me excusing something, right? That you think he's not good about it.
Probably.
You're such full of shit,
No, you are funny when it comes to Metroid, though.
Because this is a brilliant game. I'm sorry, but this is a really still an excellent game. Like it's one of the best games that came out from that generation.
I can believe it. I mean, I didn't play it enough when it originally came out on the GameCube. But it was at the wrong age. I was a snarky little prick back then. So I mean, well,
not
actually,
like now.
not much has changed. But I on the edge of buying it. I think I want to give it a go because I don't know, man. I've been playing Metroid games recently. Maybe I was missing something the first time I played it, so yeah, I want to give it a go. But it just makes me laugh because I think the game could be in black and white, and you go, no, that really works.
No, that's complete bollocks. There's some of these games I don't think like for example, like Metroid Prime 2. I didn't enjoy that at all. I didn't think that was a very good version of the series at all. But this one is excellent, and it's also it's one of those ones where I read this. I can't remember where I read this week, but people were talking about like a transition game where you had Ocarina of Time. I've spelt. How do I pronounce it?
Ocarina
of Time.
Ocarina.
This Ocarina of Time.
So Ocarina, not Oak.
What is it? Can you just
It's an ocarina.
It's literally
It's
an O and a K.
Right. Okay.
It's like saying a guitar. I'm playing a guitar. I love playing my guitar.
Okay, let me get this right. Okay, so it's Ocarina of Time. Is that
right?
It's Ocarina.
Oh
Ocarina of Time.
What's the underwater sea creature with all the legs that isn't a squid?
It's an octopus.
It's an octopus.
Yeah.
So what's the instrument in Ocarina of Time?
Ocarina.
It's an ocarina.
Ocarina. There we go.
Okay. So anyway, this has destroyed the point I was trying to make. But that version of the game was the transition from from 2D into 3D, and how when that first came out, that handled that incredibly well. Like it was
choose Grand Theft Auto in future or Mario 64.
Yeah. Well, either way, this is what this was for like 2D Metroid. Like they absolutely amazingly translated this into 3D. And one of the problems when this first came out was, at least the problem that I had when I played this, was everyone had been sort of billing it as being this sort of like, oh, this is the GameCube's answer to Halo and this kind of stuff. This is and it's not at all.
Yeah,
obviously.
no, it's not. They would never try. They would never even try and be the answer to Halo. No, you're right.
But a load of magazines were like, building that as being like, oh, it's going to be just like that. It's going to be just as good and all this kind of thing. But it's not a first-person shooter. It's a 3D exploration game, and it does that better than like almost any. I mean, even Six. It's so good at this.
The thing that sticks out in my head now, I haven't played it. The thing that stuck out in my head is that I remember just playing it, going, why am I scanning everything? Why am I spending my time scanning things?
But again, there is
a lot of scanning, right?
There is, but that's part of the exploration aspect of this. But you don't have to do that. There's only certain things that you have to scan.
There was certain stuff. Yeah, there was.
But they do kind of like make out that you have to keep scanning everything, but actually you don't.
We've got Guitar Hero in the chat. We've got Grittaroo Man in the chat. It's all coming in now.
It's very good. And the best thing about, I mean, sorry, Matt, I've totally
it's good. You played it way more. How much have you played this one then?
I've probably played about 2 or 3 hours, I think. I mean, I've just got the bombs for the morph ball out of it, so that's where I'm up to with it. I've done like a couple of bosses and got a bit further into it. But the thing that's so good about this, like the dual stick controls as well, like they've implemented like a whole ton of like different control methods into this, and one of them is dual stick, and it works perfectly. Like and this is what I love about this. I'm just really excited from playing this, because when I'm playing this, it plays as I remember the GameCube one playing, even though the GameCube one almost certainly did not play like this or look like this. But this is, in my memory, this is what the game was like. And it's still, like, I mean, the environments, they feel sparse, but, that's part of the whole atmosphere of it. And it's just, I mean, the claustrophobia...
Sorry if you've already answered this. You mentioned the claustrophobia. Sorry if you've already answered this, but what is it with the doors then? Why is it?
I don't know. I don't know what's the problem that people have got with it, because I don't know what they
I've
are.
just seen the
No,
headline
it's-
on Eurogamer all week about the original developers are really let down by the design of the doors.
What's wrong with the doors? I didn't even notice.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm asking you.
It's the way they rendered it, and it says something about I believe it's they haven't rendered it with a full detail, and they rendered some weird kind of like sub detail of the door, and it doesn't show the
Okay,
full
fine.
amazing detail of the door. That's all.
Imagine being upset with that bit.
But
I guess
also,
if
I
you
mean,
put your heart and soul into it, and they're like, "How this new one? It doesn't look as good as the old one." That's why they're annoyed, I guess.
I mean, this game also has one of the it has this mechanic that has one of the best feelings in a game for me, which is that like
get all the
transitioning out
feels.
of transitioning out of the morph ball into like a person again, and it feels really good. Like it's just got a really nice sort of like motion to it as you change.
Do I give this another go then, James?
oh, you
I don't know, because I don't know if
Yeah,
you're.
sure you should. Yeah, it
But, yeah,
feels
but Matt,
modern.
Matt, he's not thinking like that. He's thinking, I don't want him to shit on my game.
That is exactly
that's
what
what
I'm
he does.
thinking.
Yeah. There's certain games where James is like, I don't want you to play them because you will expose the truth. That
No, it's
I
not exposing
ignore.
the truth. It's just shitting
You-
on things you
You
don't
will
understand.
make excellent points that I can't counter.
No, it's
Um,
just shitting on stuff you don't understand, and it's irritating.
This is what he does. Oh, you just
Yeah.
don't understand it. No, it's not how it
Yeah.
works, James. It's not
It
how it
is.
works, mate.
But yeah,
If
but
I don't
either way,
understand it, hasn't explained it well enough.
But you've recently played and enjoyed the 2D Metroids, and this.
Dread was good. The Super Metroid, I mean,
Don't
overrated, but
don't do it.
a little bit overrated.
Does that-
Oh, come on. It's a bit silly in places, Sean.
Nope.
Some controls and no. But Dread was fucking excellent. No, I mean, this feels like it feels like a really modern game. I mean, James, I know there's like a bunch of different control schemes. I assume you just stuck with the default one.
yeah, just the dual stick. Yeah, I went for that. I mean,
Do you still invert?
yes, absolutely, yeah. And you
Do
can
you have
that
to
as well.
change that from the default?
Yes, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, always have to do that. I know
I was
it's a
thinking the
problem.
other day, like, I've fucking fully converted now. That is mad. I did
Yeah.
a Matt Murray. Matt did the same thing.
Had to be done.
I considered it the other day, like whether maybe I ought to just try and fix it in my
Should.
brain, but I just can't be bothered. It's like it takes a
Was it-
second.
I
to
think
flick
it was
the switch.
Microsoft Flight Simulator that did it for me, where I
really
couldn't,
weird.
I couldn't work out how to invert it, the
Yeah.
camera, so I just kept it, and then I played Minecraft with Harry, and he had it not inverted, and then I went to play a shooter, and I was like, oh my god, I'm naturally doing it the wrong way round now, so I had to switch it back to normal, and I was like, oh, this is weird.
I think going back to like you playing this, it depends on if you've got time to put into it. I think because it's not very friendly. Like when you first start off this game, like as
He's
in, it
making
takes.
excuses, Sean. Look,
No,
he's
it's
laying
not.
down the groundwork. He's putting the paving
I
out.
hate this. This is why I despise like explaining games to you, David, because
Why?
it's every
It's a shame
single
you have
time.
to do it for 2 hours every week, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just it's so irritating. Like
You made a
I
lot of
can't-
money out of doing that, though, haven't you,
Say
James? So maybe
anything.
wind your neck in a bit, mate.
Can't
Made a
say
lot of money out of
anything
me.
without you just like picking apart whatever I say, and it's fucking bullshit.
Well,
and it's like
the listeners like it, so I'm not going to stop. Fuck you.
It's not as long
Whatever.
as I remember. I just had a look. Well, the original
You
was
played it already, Sean.
finished.
You
it,
finished it already, haven't you?
a couple of times. Yeah. No, the original is between 14 and 17 hours on how long to beat. I thought it was maybe longer than that, but yeah, it's probably. About
I do need a Switch game to play, so I think maybe I'm going to pick it up and give it a go. I can't wait to slam it. Like that's the thing. I can't wait to absolutely pick it to pieces with arguments that you can't deal with.
you can pick it to pieces as much as you want, but I'm going to take the Matt Murray approach and just say, well, I liked it, and then that's it.
Yeah, Detroit.
I tell you what, there's
Detroit
a really,
argument.
there's a really cool moment near the beginning, James, where
Detroit defense.
you're outside in that ship, and I think I must have fired a rocket or something, and you saw the reflection of Samus in the visor.
Yeah, that's so good.
Oh shit, that was so
You
cool.
can
get that
imagine,
and, like, you
right?
know-
Having years of playing the 2D Metroids and then playing that, like seeing that for the first time,
Yeah.
and it's like fucking hell, like.
But even without that history, I was like, "Oh my god, that was such a cool, simple moment that I guess lots of people have known about and seen." But having not experienced, I was like, "Man, all I did was saw my own reflection, but it was so well done." Yeah, I would agree. It doesn't hold your hand at the beginning. I mean, like the first 40 minutes or so. I was like just wandering around, and it's trying to explain the mechanics on the fly. And I thought I did have to scan everything, but obviously there's kind of core red things you can scan, like elevators and lifts. Or
I remember just being in a room, like in a cylinder room with a tower in the middle.
Yeah.
And I remember looking around for something to scan for ages and getting really fucking angry because I couldn't find what it was. But I
found it fine, so it's your problem,
Okay, should we move on?
I was expecting a reaction to that, but
I got into a room where it said like you had to find like a spherical object. And I was like, oh man, I've got to go back. Like I know I had an inventory, so I better go back up the lift, and maybe there's something I missed, or maybe there's something I had to
spherical object.
And then I realized, oh no, it's me. I've just got to change into the morph ball to unlock the lift. I was like, do I miss something? But no.
That's my favourite thing in video games. Well, it's not my favourite things. I hate it. But when you're sitting there and you're struggling on something for ages, and then maybe you look at a YouTube video and just go, why didn't I work
Yeah, because
this out?
when I read spherical, I was hearing like cylindrical, and I was like, oh, so there's some. You would think somewhere.
So what I did was I read one word and just decided it was a different word, and then I got confused.
It would be great if she went cylindrical as well, and then just like rolled around.
You can only roll forwards and backwards.
Yeah,
And I basically thought of a completely different shape.
Yeah, why not? But no, like the opening hour was really cool.
Tell me, Matt, why does it take you double the amount of hours to complete the game than anyone else? I'm trying to work that conundrum out.
But yeah, like the opening bit, it's just a great opening hour or so to really get you into kind of explaining what the game's about, and then now I'm on the planet, and
we can't talk about it anymore because you played it for an hour and 2 hours respectively. So
can I just say I did find playing it on TV better than playing it in handheld though.
Really?
I didn't enjoy it so much playing it in handheld. It was not.
I was fucking glad that I bought a fucking OLED then.
I was going to say, you want to get James? You want to get a Hori Split Pad Pro?
Yeah, apparently that's more comfortable.
Really good. Have you seen the new one that doesn't look as shit?
No.
Yeah, there's a new one that looks marginally less hideous.
Yeah.
Okay, Hori. Well, if you're listening, can you just send them for free?
Yeah.
Right. Next game I want to talk about is Marvel's Midnight Suns because we haven't spoken about that this week. So come on.
So I'm back on this. I played a bit of it late last year. It came out at the stupidest fucking time of year. It's like, oh yeah, let's launch a game on like the 9th of December or whatever it was. Won't be much going on then, will there, for a niche strategy game? That'd be absolutely fine. I mean, I say niche. Obviously, it's Marvel. Marvel's quite big. You might have heard of it.
Very niche.
Yeah. But obviously, it's a card-based strategy game. There's clearly money's been spent on it, but it's genre-wise, it's pretty niche. I'm fully back into it. Obviously, what has helped is it's now 100% verified for the Steam Deck. Previously, it had like some performance issues and crashes and stuff, whereas now, so far, touch wood, absolutely fine.
Is that what got you back into playing it?
Yeah. I was waiting for the excuse anyway, because as I say, it came out at a stupid time of year, so I played a bit of it. I was like, yes, this is cool. However, I've now got Game of the Year stuff to worry about, so it got shelved. I'm now up to like 14 hours, so I spent about 10 hours on it in the last week. I fucking love it. The story stuff is still a bit poo. It was
awful. That was. I mean, when I played it on stream, I was like, this isn't.
Yeah, like it's the. Tries to do the Fire Emblem thing of you do a fight and then you go back to your little hub area where all the heroes are hanging out and you have friendship levels and you hang out with them and make dialogue choices and they may or may not like those dialogue choices and you become friends and then those friendships offer like bonuses in combat, which is fine. But just the moment-to-moment dialogue is just so fucking dry. A lot of the performances are really good, but just the dialogue is it's really weak. There's cool little scenarios. They deal with the fact that the story's fucking stupid. Your hub world is this abbey, which is in this sort of interdimensional pocket somewhere, and the whole point is we on?
Hold on one sec. Refresh. Oh. Whoa! What's happened there? Oh, right, okay. Oh, yeah, I thought you had a... I'm such a fucking idiot. I'm an actual fucking idiot. Because I just went, oh my god, he's had a power cut.
Yeah,
Honestly, seriously, I am so thick that it gets to the point where I just go, what? Uh, how am I even like getting to and from work at this point?
he's had a power cut.
Need help. Sorry, everyone. We just had a quick crash of the stream. Sorry, everyone. That'll be it. Yeah. Yeah. And they can't hear you, Sean.
There we go. Now you can hear me. Right, I'll sell that again then. Obviously, yeah. If the stream goes down again, we'll just leave it and carry on. But yeah, cool. Right, what was I saying?
Midnight Sun. The story is pretty bad.
Story, yeah. It's just a shame because the scenarios they've come up with are sort of interesting. The overall plot is really boring. There's Lilith, who is an evil demon summoning person, appears to want the whole world to die for no particular reason. You're her child that was born centuries ago, and you died fighting her, and then you've been resurrected, and you're the hunter, which they've done as like so you can have like a self-insert hero, right? So you're not having like they didn't have to make an existing Marvel character be like the main character. You sort of be yourself. But then the character creation tools are just rubbish, and
yes, they are.
Yeah, like you may as well just like make your character look ridiculous because you'll never look normal, right? They just like so. Basically, go on.
This is what's such a shame about this, though, because like I know, like I know that the strategy stuff, which I know you're going to get to, is like very good, like with this game. But what a missed opportunity, though, to you've got all of these brilliant characters that you could do whatever you want with, pretty much.
Yeah.
And they do this.
Yeah,
it doesn't make any sense to me at all.
Yeah,
why they would do this.
Do you think the success of the movies just made? I mean, like it feels like. I mean, we've had the Guardians of the Galaxy game, which people loved. I mean, whoever it did commercially, who cares? People seem to love that. But then we've had the Avengers. Admittedly, it was a game as a service game. We've had this, which apparently hasn't set sales records a lot. I guess it feels like they are competing with the popularity and the success of the movies to the point where maybe like the people in charge just like really struggling to find a way to make it succeed on any way because people are so ingrained with how the movies are in their heads and the comics, I guess, as well. But the games just don't seem to be. It feels like it's hard for them to punch through.
Yeah, like none of the games. Probably the only one that has landed with the sort of impact they would want is probably fucking Marvel Snap, right? Like that's been absolutely huge.
And the Spider-Man games.
Oh yeah, I suppose, yeah.
Well, what you're saying, James. I mean, they've got such a wealth of stuff they could do, but is that almost too much or too overwhelming? I don't know.
Yeah. But as I say, it's sort of
like. I mean, it's not though, is it? I was going to say, is it the first case of it? There's always been that thing about video game stories struggle to get into TV shows and cinema, right? And then it's like now you're looking at like all the Marvel stuff, but I suppose James Bond did it before, where it was like, nah, actually, you creating games ain't so good either. Do you know what I mean? You just leave each other alone for a bit.
It's just it's just very odd because the dialogue is bad, but the overall story is not that interesting. But the little situations it creates within that are quite interesting. So yeah, you've got the Midnight Suns, who are this one superhero team who've been hanging out in this abbey for ages, and then as a result of the overarching plot, the Avengers have got involved. Now the Avengers are living in this same building with the Midnight Suns, and there's this tension there because it's like, well, the Avengers have just sort of come in and now they're fucking taking over and they're calling all the shots. But then there's also this like cool bit where you're talking to Spider-Man, Peter Parker, and Robbie Reyes, who's the current Ghost Rider, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we want to show you something." And it turns out they've like set up their own little workshop where like Ghost Rider works on his car and Spider-Man works on his gadgets and stuff. And you're like, but there's already like Tony Stark and Doctor Strange have got the massive forge upstairs. Why aren't you using that? And they're like, because we want to go somewhere to just tinker with stuff and not have the two smartest people on the planet telling us how to do it. And I like that idea. Like, no, we just want to be able to fuck off and just sort of work on stuff and not really worry about it being the best it possibly could be. And just, little illustrations of the relationships between the characters like that are quite good. But just so many times people are speaking and I'm just like, come on, get on with it. I'm bored listening to people. The voice actor, so I went with a male main character, male or female. I wish I'd gone with a female one because the voice actor for the male is awful. Like he's obviously been, the notes he was given were very clearly like, oh, you're playing a guy who's been resurrected from hundreds of years ago. But he talks with an American accent, but like it's like he's looked at the dog
California
and
man.
It's a little bit of a California man scenario, where he it's like he's reading the lines, but he's like, oh, I better remove like every single contraction from this, right? So it's like, it is this and they are the worst one is he has a dog called Charlie, and whenever someone's mentioned it in the chat, so whenever you pet the dog, there's like different lines of dialogue, and one of them goes like, who is a good girl? It is my Charlie girl. And it's fucking weird every time he does it.
That sounds a bit odd, yeah.
Yeah, it's just shit like that.
Yeah, that sounds a bit odd.
However, the combat is fucking brilliant. It's so good.
Right.
In that it's, it's turn-based, and you've got like 3 superheroes and then a bunch of, like at the moment I'm just fighting Hydra people, so soldiers basically. And it's, and then you have like a hand of cards, which, have all your, like each hero has their own deck, which you can edit. You can add and remove like different moves to it. And then you're drawing cards every turn, and then you're doing stuff with those individual heroes. And it's just when you start, like, when plans start coming together, right? It's like initially you're just like, well, I'm hitting guys. There's a lot of stuff to do with like knocking enemies into things. So like, say if there's like say you're on like a pier or something, right? So you'll knock people off the map into the water, and that knocks them out. Brilliant. And then as you starts getting more involved, you start like, so if you have like Ghost Rider, one of his moves is he can create like a fucking hell pit, like literally just opens up the ground and there's just this pit of fire which goes straight to hell presumably. And then like there's this other superhero called Magic, and her whole thing is portals, right? So you can go like, right, Ghost Rider, set up some hell pits, and then Magic, set up some portals so that whenever she hits someone, like whoever she hits goes straight into one of the hell pits. And you're just like, this is fucking brilliant. She's just going around bashing people. Every time she does, a portal just opens up, and then the portal opens up the other end, wham, straight into the hell pit. Off you go into hell. And it's so good. It's so satisfying when you pull stuff off. And like, I've just met Wolverine. He's just appeared, and like, unsurprisingly, his whole thing is that he's just fucking relentless. He just tears through everyone. They got Steve Bloom to voice him, which is really cool. It's the strategy stuff is just amazing. It's just every time you go back to the Abbey, you're just like, what have I got to sit through now?
Yeah,
this sounds like Fire Emblem Engage, because I've played more of that, and it's like
really,
it's like
I was going to ask you about that. You all went very quiet on that game very quickly.
Yeah,
I've still been playing it. Like I'm playing but then the story stuff and all that, just trying to skip through it as quickly as possible because it's not interesting at all either is the problem. And I still find that whole Divine Dragon thing really uncomfortable. It's
well, this is it, yeah, because the setup is unnervingly similar to Midnight Suns. I mean, at least like Midnight Suns doesn't have any romance in it, right? Which is just because you can't have romances with a new Marvel character in a Marvel game. They wouldn't allow it, not for creepy reasons. So that's fine.
Well, neither does Fire Emblem. It's just creepy. Like
no, but that's what I mean. Like the romance was taken out of Fire Emblem, wasn't it? Because Japanese version would not have been allowed here.
Like, how much was this like improved or changed to a game like XCOM? I mean, I didn't play XCOM, but everyone said it was amazing. But same team, right? So have they changed or improved or evolved things, or the same? It's
completely different. The way the combat works, like it's still turn based, but like that's where the similarities end. XCOM was like so much about like positioning and like working out like percentages, how easy it was going to be to shoot people from certain angles, and like positioning your team so that you're like fully covering like different sections of the map and stuff. Whereas this plays sort of a bit fast and loose with positioning. Like in some ways it does matter when you're lining up attacks and stuff, but other than that, like it doesn't matter so much where people are stood at any particular time.
Right.
So yeah, plays very different to XCOM.
Okay. All right. Well, that was Marvel Midnight Suns. James, you've got Pentiment, don't you? You've been playing more of that, have you?
Yeah, I finished it. So I
Hey.
finished
Oh, wow.
that over the weekends, and I mean, probably okay. I would say this would have been on my Game of the Year list if I'd have finished it before, because it is excellent. I mean, the last chapter is a bit of a slog, like I found to get through, but it does wrap up everything I found incredibly satisfactorily. Like it was really well put together. But I did feel, I don't know if you felt this, Sean, but I felt like throughout the game, like the choices I made, I don't think really mattered that much. Like not really.
It's
And
lots of
and I
smoke and
think-
mirrors there, I think.
But then I think there's a point to that, which is I think obviously they had a specific story they wanted to tell, and it was much more like sort of Paradise Killer, like you said before, like in the sense that you're kind of what your interpretation really is of the events and how you feel about them, and what you make of the world. And I was fine with that because I very much enjoyed the story that they told here, and I hope that there'd be more of these, but I don't think there will be. I think it's probably unlikely, even though it's great. It was it's very enjoyable.
It's funny that like there's definitely a lot of choices that you later realise, like, oh, I'm not sure that actually changed anything. Like, well, I don't think I made any difference. But like the illusion is mostly pretty convincing. There's a few bits where like, so like the Christmas gathering, and there's the musicians, and you go up to them, and they're like, oh, what song do you want us to play? And then there's like 3, songs you can choose from, and then you choose one. And they're like, cool, we'll play that next. First, we're going to play this one instead.
Really?
and it's like it's beautiful. Like it's a really lovely moment in the game.
Yeah.
But you're a bit like, and then that ends, and then you kind of carry on doing other stuff, and then 10 minutes later, you're like, wait a minute, they never played the fucking song I asked for. That was complete bullshit.
I must have chosen the right one in inverted commas then, because they didn't do that for me.
Oh, really?
They just played it, so it must have been that was the one they really wanted to play.
You happened to pick the right one. Yeah, I ended up looking it up. It's Il Dolce Jubilo.
Expensive, yours? Il Dolce Jubilo.
Because it's interesting because I mentioned in the Game of the Year show, like, so I played this obviously pre-Christmas, so that whole bit really landed for me. But was it weird playing that in February? Or was
really,
was it all right? Was it still nice?
No, because I think it did a good job of like nailing that, like the and what was going on in the village and the build up to that. I think it really worked.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just I think when you get to the concluding areas, you begin to realize like I could have. This is I was ultimately always going to end up here, and this was always going to be the story they were going to tell.
Yeah.
But I was, as I said, I was completely fine with that though, because it still felt the choices I've made had impact on the town anyway to some degree.
Yeah, I think it's ultimately you still felt strongly. Well, I suppose some of the decisions are difficult because you kind of like, well, I think these all might have done it, or they might have done it, but they had good reasons or whatever. But
or you were like, oh, he's just an arsehole.
Yeah. So I think it's interesting in that you can articulate the reasons behind your decisions, even if later on you're like, oh, it probably didn't matter all that much.
Yeah.
What I thought. But the process of reaching decisions is still interesting. So maybe that's enough. I don't know.
But also, what happens to like characters in that, like where it's pretty clear that the character is realizing this as well. Like I think by the end, and then things that happen to him, it's very interesting. Good game.
All right. I've got a couple of games to quickly talk about. I've been playing Hi-Fi Rush, which I must admit I'm not getting out of it what I want to get out of it.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's absolutely stunning to look at. I love all the characters. I love the music that's being used. I'm finding it hard to feel the music.
Really?
Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not connecting with the music in ways that I like to when I play rhythm action games. I'm not getting that feeling, and I'm trying to think. I'm thinking like why. I think initially, I think the fact that I don't trust the lag input doesn't help. You know, it feels like you should be able to go through one of those tests because they always make games feel a lot better. And it feels like it's trying to be quite precise with it as well. Like if you're just slightly out, you don't get the hey sound. Also, what I found really frustrating was my favourite parts of the game so far. I'm only 2 levels. Well, I'm on like the 3rd level. The boss fights. And I'm thinking, I'm really feeling these boss fights. They're really cool.
Yeah, they're awesome.
But the combat with the smaller enemies in between, I'm not enjoying as much. And I'll tell you why. In the 2nd level, it takes you through each enemy type and shows you their attack pattern, right? So it goes, here's the big one with the big gloves, and their attack pattern is something, 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 attack. And then it's like, here's the big ones with the swords, it's something, something, attack. You know, and you're going fine. But in the heat of battle where there's loads of little minions and a couple of like bigger dudes, I'm like, how am I supposed to not only keep up with what's attacking, but also what pace they're attacking at? What like at what point am I supposed to hit dodge or parry? You know, there's too much going on for me to not only listen to the music, keep in time with the music, but also react to attacks that are happening at various different paces depending on what enemy type it is. And I'm like, oh, this isn't feeling like this. It's not feeling like it's coming together. I don't feel like I'm playing and fighting in time with the music as well as the game wants me to. And I've seen videos of people that are really good at this game playing it, and I'm like, oh right, no, you are absolutely brilliant at this game, and it looks and sounds wonderful. But for me, there's just something slightly off there that's making me go, oh, I'm not playing along with the music as much as I want to be in a game like this.
And this is exactly the problem I had with the input lag side of it. Have you got to the parrying bit yet?
Yeah. So I did the thing, James, where I realised that actually my headphones were on uncompressed stereo, but my TV speakers weren't. No, or was it the other way around? I can't remember. But I remember changing it at that point and going, oh no, this is way better now. This is way easier. And see where you're fighting one of those things. I like those bits because you're just fighting one of those things where it's going, it'll go dun, dun,
it's like
dun,
a call
and then you've got to go dun, 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 like in time with the music.
Yeah.
Totally fine with that stuff. Think it works. Where it doesn't work is where it says now do it to the enemies. But there's 3 enemies. I don't know when they're attacking, and when they do, I've got to remember their beat pattern to parry it correctly. I'm never going to do that.
No,
I
but
think
they all attack on
it
the
is,
beat. Like every hit is on the beat. So
yeah, but you're missing the point, Matt. Like, so when they start attacking, sometimes it's 3 beats and an attack. But depending on the enemy, it might be 2 beats and attack. It might be 4 beats, but with one of the beats, like there's no signal, and then it's attack, right? Or there might be a gap in an attack, depending on each enemy type. When you've got one of each enemy type attacking at various different times, yeah, I get that it's on the beat, but I don't know what beat I'm hitting because I need to remember which enemy is which attack pattern, when they're attacking. Like, and by the times where some of them is like 4 beats then attack, you're already thinking about something else within 2 of those beats because there's so much else going on the screen. So I kind of feel like I'm not having fluid fights in this game. However, having said that, I've not died much. So I think the other side of it, so that's one of my complaints when it comes to the
I mostly die because of platforming, not because of the fights.
right, yeah, I've had a few moments where I've fallen off. But there's so I've got a complaint when it comes to that side of things, but I also have got a complaint with, and it's something Sean and I have spoken about loads on this show. Stop fucking grading me the first time I'm playing it. Like, it's so fucking annoying. Here's how shit you are. Brilliant. And I'm doing all right. I'm getting like A's and B's. But even then, I'm just like, fuck off. Just leave me alone. Let me play it the first time. And then for people that want to go back, look, here's what you do. You don't put any of those displays on screen, and at the end of the game, you go, here's your grade for all the bits that you've been in. Do you want to go back and do those bits again to get a higher grade? Totally get that. That makes so much sense. And I think what was it? Neon White did that really, really well. Neon White said, "Here's a real average sort of target to hit." And then you start unlocking things like ghosts and stuff for your second playthroughs, or if you wanted to attempt that stage again and get a better time. Whereas this, it's just kind of like, you're shit, next.
See, that's the thing. Like those sorts of screens, I just ignore them because I know that I'm going to get a rubbish score anyway.
You can't ignore
So
them,
it's
though,
just-
because one of your grades is on the top right-hand corner for
Yeah, I know, but
every
it's just-
in
it's
a
just-
massive
yeah.
part
For
of the
me,
screen.
I just like I got through that. I'm satisfied I got through it, and then just move on. I don't care if the grade's rubbish or whatever.
I like, I love the look of the game. I love the characters. I love the idea behind it. I think if they wanted me to connect with the music in the way that a music game generally does, I think there's a few missteps in design, or that the bar is higher than I think it should be.
It's
Have
definitely.
you-
I think in terms of like the beat and in terms of the music side of things, I think this is definitely a lot harder than I think a lot of people assumed when it was first shown.
Dave,
Yeah,
did you
it's
play
like
any?
it's aimed at a higher skill level, isn't it? Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Did you play Metal Hellsinger, Dave?
I didn't know. No,
That's
I need to
fucking
go
good.
back and play
Give
that.
that a
Yeah,
go.
a friend of mine
It'll
said to
be
give that a go. Yeah.
less your sort of music and less mine as well. To be clear, I'm not not being a snob.
Yeah,
but
people know I'm rock and roll, mate. Deep down.
Through and through.
Yeah.
But I feel like that answers some of your problems with Hi-Fi Rush, because it's, like we were saying, so the thing with Hi-Fi Rush is you're inputting on the beat, but then it's usually a beat or two later when the thing actually happens. Whereas Metal Hellsinger is like, you are, like, as you push the button, you are firing the shotgun, you're doing a melee attack, you're dashing. And also it actually has the stuff that allows you to compensate for audio and visual lag as well. Like, you can test it and then it's like, right, we have adjusted it now, thank you.
Right.
So yeah, give Metal Hellsinger a go. It's really
Yeah, I
good.
think
Again,
that's on
it
the
came out, I think it was it was another one that sort of came out late last year. And sort of fell into the mix when it was like.
I mean, I'm gonna have to complete this, Sean. Like, Charlie's obsessed with watching it.
Is
And, I found one of those. You collect the gears as you're walking around, and that's for your currency. I found a big one hiding out around the corner, and I said to him, "Oh, there's a little cheeky one there, like hiding away." So now every time he goes, "Oh, are you collecting the cheekies?" Yeah, I've got a couple of cheekies here. Joe just walked in, saw us talking about the game, and just sighed and walked back out again because we go, "Yeah, little cheeky." The other game I've been playing, I did something really bad this week.
Uh-oh.
I did something really, really bad this week.
Killed a man.
So, apart from that, you weren't streaming Friday, James, and I thought I should stream. I'm really fancy a bit of PowerWash Sim. So I'll set up the stream. But then we watched Wakanda Forever. There's not a lot of time to do stuff after that, baby. So I went, right, I'm not going to stream. That's fine. And I woke up the next morning and went, oh, man, I want to play some PowerWash, but I ain't going to... Like, I was up early with the boys and whatever, and they were doing their own thing. And I was like, I want to play PowerWash, but I promised that I would only do it. Oh, fuck it. I'd just turn it on. And, oh, God. Saturday night was brilliant. So Saturday we didn't end up playing FIFA. So I sat down with a beer and I put PowerWash on. Joe was out. I put PowerWash on. I put you know how I love that thing where you can connect your Xbox headset to your phone and the game at the same time. I put on TLNA because I didn't get to hear that on Thursday, which is Ian Lee's show and Catherine's show, and I listened for about 2 hours. I listened to the stuff that I missed live, and I sat with my feet up, just cleaning that fucking manor, and I thought, oh, I am like, it was brilliant. Like, I had such a good time, and I thought, because I turned on Hi-Fi Rush, and I got a bit frustrated with it, so I turned this on, and I was like, this is dangerous, because that was limiting how much I was playing by saying I'd only do it on stream. But at the same time, these levels are massive and take hours to complete. So just sitting up on the Saturday night with my feet up, listening to Ian and Catherine talking, nonsense as they usually do. Good nonsense, sorry. And spraying all over the manor. I mean, I'm already on. I think I'm on the last level of that DLC, and it is a big one. It's a big one. The one I thought was quite interesting was there's a maze, and that throws up all sorts of problems. For starters, it's a maze where you need to find everything that you need to clean.
All the incorrect routes as well as the...
Yep.
Yeah.
Because you need, just in case there's something there you need to clean. Secondly, when you get to the middle and you finish cleaning that bit and you realise there's actually another 3 objects that you didn't fully clean on your first run through, you're like, well, how do I get back there now? And the what is it? The time lapse shot of at the end of it that you get once you finish it is like a proper like top down view of the maze and you running around this maze is quite good. I mean, fair play. We really need to band together now, everyone, and try and get them to do the Only Fools and Horses DLC. And I don't even mind if it's like get hello in there. Renault's Caf. Yeah. Get Are You Being Served? Get that floor of the department store on there. Get that in there. Yeah.
Faulty Towers is getting remade. Maybe that's
any modern reference.
40 Towers. Yeah. 40 Towers would be another one, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Dad's Army.
Anything from Dad's Army. Yeah. Yeah. You go. Don't tell him your name, pup.
Spray down.
Love that.
Spray down the van. It'd be brilliant. Yeah.
Spray down the van. Said that, didn't we?
Saying again.
Only Fools and Horses. Seriously, everyone tweet. Was it PowerWash Simulator on Twitter? And get them to do Only Fools and Horses. It's got to be done, Sean. It's got to be done. And that's what we've been playing this week. It's time for your questions. Sean Bell.
If you want to send us a question, go to tcgs.co/Dear TCGS in your favourite web browser, or maybe a web browser you don't care so much about. Doesn't really bother us which
like
one you
Edge.
use.
I know what John Denton will use.
Oh, yeah.
Microsoft Edge.
It's a great browser.
Is he a big fan of
Microsoft
that?
Edge. He's a massive fan. He's on it every night. We keep seeing him on the Microsoft Edge.
What I really like is using Edge at work, and then just because we have to. Well, we don't have to, but our work laptops default to Edge, and then you just go to Google something, and then you realize you're looking at the results. Like, why are all these results wrong? Why are none of these results for the thing I wanted to search for? And then you realize it's because you're using Bing. I
hate the ones where you use one of them, and they're like, we've looked, and we're not your default. We want to be your default.
You sure that's right? Do you want to check?
Sure? Because we can change it from here if you want.
We'll just do that now for you if you want.
Fuck off.
It's no big
Leave
deal.
me alone. Stop looking at my settings.
Pervs. Michael says, would you lads consider doing a charity calendar? And if so, what would this look like? More lip smacking, please, if you feel the urge. So I think Michael is an Ellis and John listener because they recently did their charity tax calendar, which was the two of them in a range of compromising positions.
Right.
But it's for children in need, so it's fine. I'd be well up for this.
Yeah, I mean, every month would just be a different picture of James's.
James's
dick.
That's very little work for us, three.
Can we do one photo where it's just James's balls just squashed against the lens?
Yes. What are you gonna need? We're gonna need a bigger lens.
We should
James,
do
you up
that.
for this?
No.
No, not for that. Okay.
Shame.
No,
What
I
about
think
loads of
Not
those?
your balls.
a charity calendar would be amazing.
Just me,
Would it?
like hugging James and stuff, making him feel awkward. You know, on the stream that we did the other night, where I sat on your lap and then kept. Do you know he really didn't like it when I just went to his nose? Boop. That's all I did.
You bopped him.
He was getting very angry at that. Very angry at that. Just a boop.
I think
Let's go to one of those kind of classic family photo shoot days. You know,
that would be amazing.
Cool. Do they even exist anymore? You know, those places used to be in town.
Yeah. No, they totally do, because someone I used to work with still does it regularly with she's got like a 15-year-old kid, and I think they still do them like every 6 months. It's a bit odd. But yes, we should totally do that. Like
we'll
all of us
there.
like lying on our front, like full folded arms.
And then it's like mum and dad behind with hands on the kid's shoulders. You know. We'll do all the range of classic poses.
Yeah.
Get some props.
See, I was going to say, like, oh, well, it's for charity, so Gary will probably do it for free, but I'm afraid you've just been upstaged, Gary. We're going to one of those weird family places instead.
That would actually be quite funny. I mean, in the chat, like Ben's saying, we ought to all dress the same clothes as well. Can you imagine that?
Yeah. Oh, I'd fucking love that.
It would look very funny. I think. It'd be good.
Yeah, we could do like a few months of them, and then I don't know. I reckon if we just photos of us just hanging out.
Why has it got to be for charity?
It's the right thing to do, Dave.
I mean, none of us are fucking rich. Why
I know, but we do get money for doing the show.
I often think about, right, you see those celebrities in the like catchphrase and stuff like that, and they're always doing it for charity. And I just think some of the celebrities on there must be thinking, oh, I want this.
Yeah,
I could do
they're
with
not.
this.
Yeah, because it's like the assumption is, well, you're a celebrity, you must be rich, you don't need the money. Whereas, you see some of them, and it's like, I haven't seen you on telly for 5 years, mate.
Yeah, I know.
You probably wanted the cash. Like,
yeah. Oh, you've just won £20,000 for charity.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Yeah. Fucking hell. I mean, I really could have done with that. But sure.
My tax bill's off the charts.
I suppose the children need it.
They're in need of it. Yeah. We should do it. Yeah, sure.
We should actually
no,
do
we're
it.
not going to do it.
You say us all dressed in the same. I want actually kind of themed things per month. Just as Easter bunnies around April.
But now the cost is suddenly ramping up, Matthew.
That's what I want to have really high production.
Yeah, Matt goes nuts for this stuff. This is the problem. This is why it won't happen.
I think like surfboards, with like the wind and yeah, and like kicking leaves at each other for autumn.
Yeah, exactly.
Wearing like gorgeous selections of brown. I'll be all over that.
Matt on his skateboard, James doing parkour in the background, me and Dave just cheering him on.
All the memes. I like one where I'm trying to sneak some cereal from Dave and he's all like, oh no. Yeah, well, we all the classic TCGS moments.
Yeah,
we're just all putting the effort in, and James is just behind us in every shot, just looking like, "What am I doing here?" Yeah.
No, I can imagine one setup is James in a full kind of like almost like BBC newsroom.
James doing the T pose. James doing the T pose. We got to get that in there.
Sure.
Yeah.
Easy.
Recreate all the moments. All the classic
James,
moments.
you all right, mate?
Yeah,
don't fancy this bit of the show. Don't fancy this bit.
It's not
enjoying it.
Just sitting back, just passively. Maria Mendieta says, "Dear TCGS course fisherman, Peter Serafinowicz has played Dark Souls 2 on camera. Vin Diesel has started his own game studio. Nevertheless, which celebrity do you suspect keeps their hardcore gaming habits under wraps? Keep up the great work. Sincerely, Maria."
Judi Dench.
Do you reckon?
Yeah.
She don't keep it under wraps, but
all night every day.
She's proud. She's got one of those T-shirts that says "Eat, Sleep, Game, Repeat" on it.
Yeah.
What about
Nintendo Rehabilitation Clinic or whatever? I think I got you, David. That hoodie.
What about Adrian Childs?
No, that was a bag. Adrian Childs.
Oh, it was a hoodie, wasn't it? It was a hoodie.
What is going on with Adrian Charles and those headlines?
Increasingly unhinged columns.
What's happened to Adrian Charles?
I don't think anything's happened to him. I think he delights in just writing weird columns that annoy people.
He's on board with it, right? No, he knows what he's doing. Right?
Yeah, for sure, he knows what he's doing. Yeah.
Okay. No, this question reminded me. I had a Twitter account that managed a total of 30 followers, which was called Celebs Doing Games. And it was literally just me just coming up with a random celebrity's name and then thinking of like something I'd imagine it would be funny if they did. So you've got things like Tom Cruise decoding his engrams one by one for maximum light gains. I don't even understand that reference anymore. I know it's a Destiny thing.
I appreciate it.
We've got Peter Andre waking up in a panic as he realises he might be too late to register his copy of Hyrule Warriors and get the free Ganon costumes.
Is this another failed comedy Twitter account?
Yes.
We need to revive this.
What did you say comedy, David?
Good.
Ross Kemp modifying his fight stick to feature a collage of his favourite anime babes.
Matt,
this is good.
Slating,
that's not bad.
Slating his work.
There's a
Look at Matt having a pop at your work.
A bit of banter, David. Keep up.
So some of you, for those of you that don't know, Adrian Charles here's some of the headlines. What's he write for? The Guardian or
Guardian, yeah.
Yeah,
right?
Might technically
Some
be
of
the
his
Observer,
headlines.
but I don't know.
I thought it was weird to have a favourite spoon. Then I realised I wasn't alone. Matt,
Exactly. That's why he's my boy.
you've got your favourite spoon. Oh, people that don't listen to Bonus Show won't know that Matt has used the same spoon for his cereal for how many years?
Since I was born.
Right. I have a urinal in my flat and it has changed my life. So why are people appalled? Having a quiet drink, I eyed a group of lads nervously, and then I saw their man bags. It's like, have you seen that video of, is it Kilroy? Is that his name?
Yeah.
The show coming in and introducing the show, and it was like, my wife left me for another woman, like, and they've stitched like a million of those together. And it's like, I like that was it. And my favourite was like, I like smoking, playing football, and drinking until early mornings. And I'm female. It's like, what the fuck? Yeah, you got to see that video. It's absolutely incredible. Where were we?
Game.
I've also got Bruce Willis asking some gaming blogs if he can write for them because he heard you can get free games before they even come out in the shops. Sorry, I'm far too amused by my own Twitter account. Nothing on that. 30 followers. Hardly any retweets. Fuck all.
I didn't even know. What's it called?
It was Celebs Do Games.
Come on, let's do that. Let's pick that up.
Should we revive it? I haven't done anything since 20.
Yeah, I want to write some more of those.
2014 was the last tweet I did on that.
Dennis Norden was banging to Goldeneye. I remember that.
Was he?
Mm-hmm. I don't know. But I've been thinking about Dennis Norden a lot recently. Just his presenting style was so... Yeah, because I slipped in the impression of him like last week, I think it was, where he goes, if you're one of those people... How many times he said that on that It'll Be Alright on the Night? But, like... He was just such a strange choice for a show like that. He had nothing about him, the fella. Yeah, he'd turn up every time and go, here's a fun.
Yeah, I mean, the clipboard
EastEnders.
Unbelievable, even back in those days, to have a clipboard.
Do you know what's really weird? Another thing I was thinking about the other day. Do you remember This Is Your Life?
Yeah.
What weird show. Hey, here's a celebrity. Let's watch him have a really nice night where he gets to meet all these people in his life that he's forgotten about.
Does
Why
that,
is that
does that
entertaining?
show not work anymore just because it's so easy to look up most of the stuff that would appear on it?
That's partly, but also the fact that I don't think we want to sit there and just watch a celebrity have a nice time.
Have a lovely time. I mean, without any bite or needle, like, what's the point? Unless you get some dig.
Without any needle.
That's what you need, don't you? You need a bit of that.
Yeah, I guess. All right.
Well,
next.
Maria, I hope that answers your question. Brad says, hey, TCGS. I'm wondering if you could weigh in on a domestic debate that has arisen for a few couples I know recently. A couple shares a bed, and one has to wake up at 6 a.m. for work, and the other doesn't have to wake up until 7:30. The alarm goes off at 6 a.m. and wakes both partners up. Partner A has to get up and go to work, envious of partner B, who gets to stay in bed and fall back asleep. Partner B, however, is irritated that they get woken up 90 minutes early every day by an alarm that's not meant for them. Who has it worse?
A few couples I know recently. Brad, come on.
Yeah, nice cover, Brad. Who has it worse? The partner has to get up early and go to work while their partner stays in bed, or the partner gets woken up earlier than they need to by their partner's alarm. Love, Brad.
I think they both got it
bad.
bad.
No, the partner that get up. No, they haven't got it bad. If you're getting
Get
up
up
at
early
7:30,
for
mate, you're doing all
has
right.
it bad. Everyone's in bed.
Christ. Yeah. No, also, isn't it nice to wake up a little bit earlier and lay in bed for a good hour?
Yeah,
man,
man, to have that wake
can't
up and
do
be
that.
like, it doesn't matter if I fall back asleep. It's fine.
Yeah.
That's a
Oh
good
my
feeling.
God, I've not had that for 8 years.
I was going to
9
say,
years.
I mean, Brad, these couples that you know recently, I assume none of them have kids because this all goes out the window.
If they do, they're older. But who's got it worse? The one that has to get up.
Yeah, 100%.
Easy.
100%. Because they're also thinking,
they turn the heating on.
I can stay in bed for another hour and a half.
Yeah, they turn the heating on.
Oh God, yeah. Yeah, if you're partner B, you get to wake up with the heating on full blast.
Unless you're clever and can do it, like actually time that stuff.
That's
because
true.
I still haven't worked that out.
Have you not? You've not got smart heating?
No.
It's good.
No, I haven't got smart heating. I've got the most ridiculous heating system
you
ever.
need to do-
Sounds like a fucking jet engine.
I was going to say
taking
what
off
you
when I
need to
turn my
do.
heating on.
What you need to do is for your boiler to break down of its own accord and have boiler cover, and then they just give you a new one.
Yeah, no.
Top
Well,
tip.
I mean, ours is from like we got a furnace heater, a
Nice.
vent system.
Wow.
No, not nice. It's horrible.
No,
I hate
no,
it.
shit. Sorry.
Yeah, we're looking into spending a lot of money to get rid of it.
So,
yeah, no.
Brad, these couples that you know, maybe suggest that partner A gets a smartwatch that'll just buzz to wake them up and leave partner B sound asleep. Might work.
I mean, I tried that with my because I typically what I have done wore my smartwatch at night to monitor my sleeping and whatnot. But then that would wake Jill up. So turn that alarm off. And that's just vibrating.
As soon as anybody gets up, everyone's just up, aren't they? Because that's what it's like at my
Yeah,
house.
that's kind of what it is in this place. But then, to be fair, Joe can go back to sleep when she wakes
Yeah,
up.
so can Chen.
I just can't.
Exactly. That's why I'm saying it's crap when you get woken up early if you don't have to, because I can't go back to bed. As soon as I'm awake, I'm awake. And I get up. And it's,
like that in a second.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
Chris
now
Little.
you've all learnt a lot. Can you tell that we're trying to eke it out to 2 hours this week, or is it?
We've got some good stuff coming up. It's fine.
I've got the
We've got an email
Golden
from
Day.
Father Christmas in a bit. It's going to be good. Chris Little says, "Good evening, chaps. Last night I watched the film After Sun and found myself sobbing uncontrollably for the entire last act of the film, and I wondered if a game could ever truly achieve the same effect on me. Several games have left me feeling sad or emotional. Red Dead Redemption 2, Edith Finch, The Last of Us, etc.
Can I just say, I thought that where it says Red Dead Redemption 2, I thought that said R2D2 for some reason. And I was thinking, why would that make
my
him
eyes
sad?
out of the little tin man. Nothing's ever had me pissing my face like a good film or TV episode. Why do you think this is? Or perhaps you've had a game cause you to genuinely weep. Interested to know your thoughts and fucking love the show. All the best, Chris.
Chris, we've spoken about this a bit on the show, but you might not have heard this. But the what's weird is that we were talking about this last night, James.
We were, yeah.
Recording Wakanda Forever.
All right.
Because I was in bits at the start of that, and it was the sorry spoilers. It was the Marvel logo that come up.
yeah.
The way they did that this time, I was like, oh my god, I'm gone. And James doesn't cry at films, and
No, not very much.
I don't cry at games. I've never had a great game make me cry yet. But films, I'm a mess, like constantly, just ridiculous. I mean, it's a joke in our house now how much I cry at films. Like Harry's past that point. So Harry used to cry at the end of films always. It'd always be in tears. And then he got a little bit older and it didn't bother him no more. So he was fine. And now he looks over at his dad and I'm like sitting there just like, oh, I'm just so... Because he was the... And it's just...
I think that's healthy. I mean, maybe
I
this
don't know,
is maybe this is
initial-
too much for the podcast, but like you crying at films more now, do you see that as a sign of maturity, or I mean, I'm aware you've had some pretty I was going to say you've had some pretty bad years, right? So I wouldn't
Before then.
Okay, fine.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't know what... I don't know. I don't know what it is.
See,
I don't know what it is.
When we were talking about it, because I was saying, like, I don't cry generally from films or from TV and stuff like that. Apart from when sometimes... No, because apart from when sometimes things come... Like, when things come out of nowhere, like unexpected stuff, that's what sometimes upsets me. But I was saying...
Yeah, he was absolutely bawling at Scream and Scream 2.
Yeah, the calls coming from inside the house.
I was going to say something... No, never mind.
No, go on. Go on.
Let's have a go. You know, I'm just trying to... I'm bearing my soul here. And then it's
and
just
we're trying
like...
to entertain the nation, James. So you got to allow us a few gags here and there. Go on, son.
Right, just wait until you... Just listen to Wakanda Forever. You know what I was going to say. It's fine.
Well, that's on the Patreon this week, £4.50 tier.
£4.
If you want to know why James cries at Scream.
There was a bit... I'd be interested. I mean, we can't discuss it without spoiling it, but there was a bit in, well, 2 bits in Pentiment, but around the same thing that absolutely fucking broke me. Like, not just, I got a bit sad, like full on bawling like a baby. Like it was, yeah. I don't know if you, James, do you know which bit I'm talking about? I presume not.
No, I'm not entirely. Which act? Can you just give me an act?
Well, it's in 2 and 3. It's a thing from Andreas's past. It gets revisited.
Ah, right, yeah, right, okay, yeah. I think I know.
Yeah.
I think I do know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
yeah,
like,
yeah. That's quite effective.
yeah.
I want to watch that. What was that bloody show? In and of itself or something. That live show. I want to watch that with someone just to see if that makes them go as badly as I did, because I was a wreck for about an hour after that.
What is it? What is it? It sounds good. What is it?
I've told you about it before. It's like a magician show, but it's not really about there's about 2 tricks in it. It's just basically long monologues about this guy's life, and then he does this trick at the end, and you go, "Oh, that's a good trick." Oh no, it's not about the trick at all. Oh my god. Oh, this is a massive commentary on labeling yourself and how labels don't mean anything. Like, and then I was just like, just like streaming from my face. But you got to watch that, Matt. You got to watch it. It's a fucking hard watch, but it's good. Sorry, did I step over you there, Sean?
No, it's fine. I was just going to say, people in the chat mentioning To the Moon, definitely.
Yeah, that got me a big style.
You got done by that. I played through that and I liked it, but it didn't get me. It's really weird how. Why is it? I suppose because I'm an active part of it, and maybe that distracts me from the emotions. Whereas with the TV show, I'm just like fully locked in, and I'm not thinking about anything else other than the plot and the characters in it. So maybe that's what it is, but I don't know. It's yeah.
In terms of like a game having like a prolonged sequence that makes you upset, I don't know if I've had that. I guess again like the end of The Last of Us, not Last of Us, Walking Dead. Season 1, absolutely like stunning ending, made me cry for sure. But
yeah,
I don't think
well, you ended up with just Ben, didn't you? So yeah, of course you did. You and Ben roaming the lands.
But there's always like moments which have made me cry in games, but not like a prolonged sequence that look like they mentioned here with After Sun, which I haven't seen annoyingly. But yeah, I cry a lot of things, but not a prolonged last act of a game. That would be something.
Does
Especially
everyone in your family take the piss out of you for crying when you cry? Does everyone turn around and go, "What is the matter with you, Dave?"
No, I don't. No, they don't.
Okay.
Maybe I should.
That just makes me sad. Okay.
Joe, boxer brief, size 11 shoe.
Yeah.
As if he knew.
Everyone's got big feet. Are they lying, or is that?
I mean, maybe they're over. Yeah. They're like they buy size 11s, but then they put like 3 inner soles in them just to. Right.
He leaves the tissue in that you get when you buy the shoe.
Just assumes it's meant to stay in.
Could you imagine meeting someone that got? Could you imagine like you've met someone? I'm size 14. Really? Your feet don't look like that. Let me have a look at your feet. What? Why are the bits of paper still in these shoes?
You mean the padding?
Part of the shoe, isn't it?
It's comfort pad.
You mean the toe pad? The toe pad. Well, you take them out. Yeah.
What?
Well, that's cushioning.
Why would you deprive yourself of that extra comfort? It's weird. Yeah, Joe Box Brief size 11 shoe, as if they knew what Chris Little had sent in. Says, every time we mention stories and games, we consider a high point being the game made me cry. In the right frame of mind, I have cried while watching RoboCop 2 and several episodes of Columbo. I submit this is not necessarily a high watermark of quality. Could we do with game narratives that elicit more emotions in a mature or at least competent way? Happiness, for example. The latest Monkey Island has a surprisingly thoughtful narrative that celebrates the previous games while reflecting on them from a point some 30 years in the future. It's funny, sweet, nostalgic, but not saccharine. It's a story that celebrates the series and everyone who loves them. On the flip side, Sonic Frontiers. The story is totally incomprehensible, but still had me genuinely think Sonic is so cool.
Sonic is so cool, yes.
I haven't thought this sincerely since I was 10. Anyway, much love. It's a good point. Like, we've spoken before, but like the way parenthood is portrayed in games is always like the child is in danger. It's never about the trials and tribulations of parenting in general. I mean, I haven't played God of War 1 and 2.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it wouldn't make for a very good game, though. That's the problem, isn't it?
It's rare to just see like positive parent-child relationships in games, right?
Yeah,
It's
no,
always
yeah,
just like,
correct.
this child exists, and now it is a point of weakness until the day you die, which is
Yeah,
basically
yeah,
true,
yeah.
right? I'm not saying that's not a
Is,
thing
yeah.
with being a parent.
You
but
must protect this.
Yeah.
It's basically
Yeah,
the
yeah.
thing.
I think that's what God of War does so well, because you can really see the journey from I must protect this to, I can't protect this. Like
Right.
their
Yeah.
own being in the world, and
Yeah,
so that's
and
what
also
most of them
also
games
The
do.
Walking Dead season 1 was a very, very good example of parenting done well.
Well,
That's true.
it's that like giving the child the tools that they can take care of themselves later is. And
So
it kind of,
Sean, that's not me saying. Well, they've done it. So your
So it's fine.
point was wrong, and they've done it with
Well,
that
but
one
'cause
game.
even with-
No, you're absolutely right.
Because even
but
with The
it's-
Walking
yeah,
Dead,
that's
right?
a
It's
really good example of
it's
it.
the peril of the situation is like such a huge part.
Yeah,
of it.
but they didn't go down that road. So and Clementine was never used. And initially, she was used as this point of like you must
Peril.
protect, but then it becomes more of a no. You're teaching how a child
Yeah.
how to live in this
to give her
world
the tools
that's
for
so
later.
fucked up. Yeah,
that-
it was really well done.
Witcher 3, that's a good one because
Oh,
it
yeah.
basically, spoilers. The end is like it's the way you've treated Ciri, isn't it, through the game, and the things she's learned from you sort of dictates whether or not she succeeds. Like, it's not really about Geralt in the end. It's whether you've shown her that sort of love and trust throughout, and that sort of that's what gives her the strength to not fail at the
The
end.
dad in Life is Strange season 2. There's loads of examples, Sean. What are you talking about? You're talking bollocks. There's loads of examples. But that's not even what the question
The dad
is.
in Life is Strange 2 fucking dies.
Yeah, but he
Spoilers.
was a good dad.
He was a
Like,
good
he was
dad.
a really good dad.
Yeah, he was a
And
really
then
good
that's-
dad.
But are
for
we just
5
spoiling
minutes.
everything at this stage?
No,
Like-
come on, that's in the fucking trailer, James. Shut up. Right, okay. So don't try and compare it to when you posted the ending of God of War 2 on our YouTube channel.
Not wasn't the
Anyway.
ending, but,
Anyway, in terms of emotions, you're right. It is weird how we're going. The story's really good. I cried but it's funny, isn't it? There's video games are able to convey emotions, or at least bring out emotions in you as a player, not just through narrative, but also what you're doing through actions. Like, how many times have you played a game and just thought, oh my God, like you gripped that pad because you were like, I can't believe I just did that. Like Rocket League, for example, no story, no nothing, but you feel godlike at times, and it draws that emotion out of you. I've had recently, we're not doing so well at the moment, but my pro clubs team got promoted to the top division, and to get to Division 2, my character scored a last minute goal in the last game of the season. I've never had a better moment in gaming than that moment right there, where I stood up in front of the TV screen and was jumping around like a madman. And I mean, the sport does that as well, so that's probably not the best example to use. But I think there are various different ways that video games can draw emotion out of you, just not through narrative. And you're right, it is weird that in terms of storytelling, it is, oh, I cried seems to be the bar, and seems to be what everyone says is what makes a good video game narrative. But it's weird to sort of, I think because that's such an extreme emotion, that's why people look for it. It's like, if you played a genuinely hilarious game, that game would be compared to, proper comedies and stuff, and that, because that's another extreme emotion. And I think that's why it gets focused on so much. Like, being happy is one thing, but look, like struggling to breathe through laughter is something that we don't see in games enough for it.
I was watching there's a guy called Habby1. I think it's 147 on YouTube and 347 on Twitch. He's been playing Star Citizen, and fucking still such a strange game. Like, simultaneously, like the most incredible tech you've ever seen in a game that still barely works, right? And there's this whole sequence where he was doing a mission with a friend. So it's got this like facial tracking thing now. So if you have a webcam set up, it reads your face and your character's face moves in game as your real life one, and it's like it's uncanny. It's fucking weird to watch, and and basically this guy and like him and his mate like failed this mission, but like so he's like unconscious on the floor, right? And you've got like half an hour for someone to revive you, or you can press a button and get revived at like the nearest hospital or whatever. And he's just on the floor. and he's like dead basically, but his face is still like, come on mate, come on and get me up, like help me out. And his mate's trying to pick him up, and the physics are fucked, and his body's getting dragged around, but his face is still it's so fucking funny. Funniest thing I've seen in the game in ages. Also, the bit in Kingdom Hearts 2...
There's not enough comedy in games. It's just not.
Well, the thing is, because it's not intentional comedy, it's just the tech being weird and a bit fucked, but also really good.
It's properly, replicating humans. I don't think we're going to get as close as we need to get. But I reckon, actually, when we get to that point in technology, I reckon there'll be suddenly a massive wave of these kinds of games that can accurately, replicate that stuff.
I think comedy in games is really, really difficult to do.
Yeah,
I think it's really difficult to do intentionally.
Like written comedy,
because it's like comedy is all. A lot of that is about timing and everything, and it's like if you're giving the player the agency to be able to do things, it makes
play the South Park games, James. It is. It not only does that game have a lot of comedy in it, like that works really well, but it also has comedy in it that can only be done in video games, like that wouldn't work on the TV show because it doesn't work. It's reacting to your actions in a way that, I'm sure. I mean, they absolutely smash that.
But that's what I'm saying, though. It must be quite difficult, though, because how many games have there been like that?
I just wonder if it's not how difficult it is. It's about the type of writers that.
I think, it's just a very different discipline to writing for comedy for TV or whatever.
For sure.
I was also going to add to the bit in Kingdom Hearts 2 where it looks like Goofy has been actually killed. And I've never been so angry in my life.
Oh, I remember that. That went around the internet, didn't it?
Yeah, because you're just like, no! You did not just kill Goofy! That's fucked! Like... Yeah, and then you do just like this little combat run, this like, uninterrupted like 10 minutes of combat, where you're just like, fucking... killed Goofy. Anyway, it turns out he's not really dead.
Could be worse. The bit later on where Mickey's ears get pulled off, that was pretty rough. You get chopped off with one of those big key things.
Slice them off. Father Christmas. Last question.
Only.
Yeah, it's a little bit unseasonal, but here we go.
I'd love for it. Well, he's got time to write in.
Well, I suppose that's what he does off season, isn't it? He just writes into podcasts.
Yeah, he was on Lockdown Parenting Hell recently. I'd love to the thought of him on his sleigh doing his rounds, listening to TCGS Gotti show, just getting furious about what goes through. Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He said, this is really what this is a tradition now. I'm delivering the presents, got the Gotti show, and that's just how I do it.
Yeah.
Do you reckon that's why I don't get anything every year?
Yes.
Every year I get nothing because of that.
Absolutely, yeah.
Father Christmas says, "Hi TCGS, I've got a story to share, but it makes me look like a right idiot. So for pride reasons, I'm keeping myself anonymous. Otherwise, I'd get ripped on the Discord."
On the Discord. That's the first clue.
In work, I'm part of the SLT meeting. I assume that's senior leadership team. Meaning I get pulled in to deal with HR issues, such as one that happened this morning, where I was needing to
gossip, isn't it? Love all that. Go on.
One that happened this morning where I was needing to suspend a colleague pending an investigation into someone's scrupulous behaviour. However, as these things are generally unplanned, I hadn't considered the fact that I was wearing musical Christmas socks. Yes, I know it's February, but they're really comfy. Midway through me reading the suspension script, I must have changed position and knocked my socks, which set the Jingle Bells song off, reverberating around the room. Not a light humorous moment, which I hoped it would be, but rather the employee I was suspending burst into tears and told me how inconsiderate I was and that I'd obviously done it on purpose. Oh God!
So also, that was all like tinny sounding,
Needless to say, I quickly rushed the rest of the meeting so I'd escape and crawl under a table. Have any of you done anything really embarrassing or stupid at work? Thanks, Father Christmas.
Oh, God, all the time, but nothing that either A, I can talk about or B, anyone would give a shit about because it's all, related to my work. Have I done anything extreme? Well, there was that time, that was at work, wasn't it, where I was utterly convinced that Timbuktu was in Scotland. And everyone looked at me like I was a complete idiot. Yeah, I don't know why, because it was in the Nesses. Do you remember the Nesses cartoon show?
Yeah.
Yeah, they kept
Just
talking about
mentioning
going
that.
to Timbuktu in their Scottish accent, so I just
Well, must
assumed
be
it
up
was
the road.
somewhere in Scotland and
Yeah.
then never looked it up. There was, I tell you this is really stupid and ridiculous. Nothing on this level. But I remember being really embarrassed once about something about my hair or something. And I remember walking down the stairs, popping into the toilet quickly, looking into the mirror, correcting whatever it was, and popping back out again. I was literally in there for like 5 seconds. And then later on that day, someone turned around to me and went, "What did you just pop into the toilet for 5 seconds?" And I went, and I didn't know what to do or say, so I just went, and I didn't want to point out like, oh, my hair was rubbish or whatever. So I just went, "I didn't. Yeah, did I saw you go in there?" And I went, "Nah, not me. Yeah, Dave, it was you. I saw you walk into the toilet and walk out 5 seconds later. It's not a problem. I was just interested into what." I said, "No, you got a
No, I
different
didn't know about
no."
that.
And
Didn't
he
know about
looked
that.
at me as if to say, "I know you're lying. Why are you lying about this?" And I just walked off. And then I just sat at my desk wanting to just cry. That not quite on the same level.
No, but still,
No,
because
not-
because even though what you were doing was perfectly innocent, it now seems like you did something really fucked up.
Yeah. I don't know why I did that. I don't know why my brain went, just lie in this situation, please.
Because I can't think of anything embarrassing I've done at work. But then I don't know, like, do you guys get to be yourselves at work? Because I don't.
No,
I do.
it's not.
Yeah,
It's like a version
now.
of me, isn't it?
I
Yeah,
suppose.
Yeah,
we
it
all
is a
got, like,
it's a
outwork
version of me.
versions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got this thing going on where I'm like extremely grumpy all the time. I'm the grumpy one of the office, like shaking my head and moaning about everything. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't
Sorry,
know, like
Sean.
I don't. It's not that, like, you know, I've never been told off or anything. I don't know. The people I work with, I mean, they're fine. They're not bad people. I just don't feel like revealing anything about myself. Do you know what I mean? Just
Well,
don't
yeah.
feel
I mean, they're
particularly
not
comfortable around
friends,
them,
are
but-
they? That's the thing. They're not. You're not surrounded by friends. You're not surrounded by people you trust, or
Yeah,
to that level.
exactly.
You don't distrust them, but it's like
Yeah,
you're not.
not the same
yeah,
thing.
they're not close.
Yeah,
You ain't
yeah.
Yeah,
talking
it couldn't
about
be
that stuff.
100% Matt at work. That would be ridiculous for every reason.
They are
Basically,
missing
I'm-
out, Matt. That's
Yeah,
their problem.
All those
The
puns
bullet.
that they're not getting to hear.
So yeah, I don't know.
How about you,
I feel
James?
like
I bet you're
just-
exactly yourself at work, right?
No, like you said, it's a version, isn't it, of you?
Yeah.
It's
What's the
almost like
version
that.
of you at work like?
I don't know. I couldn't say.
Does he smile once in a while?
Yeah, all the time. I'm pretty upbeat and chipper, to be honest.
Bloody hell.
Yeah.
Well, can you bring some of that to the table here, mate?
Get some work, James, here, could you?
T-posing. Someone's Phil was just putting it down. He's T-posing constantly. Yeah.
Right, let's do an episode next week where we just our work versions of ourselves.
I just wouldn't speak for 2 hours. I'd
Yeah,
just sit there
I'd
and wait
pretty
till I'm
much
asked a
just-
question, and then answer with facts, and then hope
And then
everyone
move
moves on.
on.
Yeah. I did over Christmas. We did a Secret Santa, and I mean,
Good time
again,
to do it.
bearing in mind, like most people at work, I have like no personality, right? I gave someone a signed framed photo of myself, giving them a thumbs up
Yeah,
before the
that
Christmas
was
tree.
strange. How did
that
they
was
react to
Oh, they
that?
fucking loved it. They were like,
brilliant.
because what I thought would be funny was they do round one, where everyone gets a random gift, and then you open it, and then round two is basically we go through.
I hate that system. I hate that system.
Me too.
There's rounds,
But in this-
there's rounds in Secret Santa.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, there's two. Yeah, and then basically the second round, you go through everyone one by one, and you can either keep what you've got or you can swap with someone else. And I thought it would be funny because no one's going to want a picture of me, and everyone's going to be like, "Well, can I get rid of this and have some like fucking chocolates or some, cider or something?"
Yeah.
No, everyone was fighting over it. It was hilarious. But again, it was so weird. Like, they like loads of them are like, "Oh, like what made you think of doing that?" And it's like, "Oh, that's right. You're not aware that I make stuff all the time. Like I
Yeah, you don't
have
know.
ideas." But and it's not even a particularly original idea. Like James, like you did those ones like a few months before, didn't you?
Yeah.
So I think I probably subconsciously was like thinking of that.
Consciously, surely. He just nicked his ideas. Fine.
Nicked it straight up. And
Yeah.
but yeah, and everyone's like, "Oh my god!" And like you've signed it and everything. I was like, "Yeah, what? why wouldn't you sign it? It's not. Well, it makes it more obvious that it's a joke, right? If you don't sign it, it's like, oh, I actually think this is cool.
Did you put a little motivational text on it?
No,
that's what you had to do.
I considered keep on trucking, but I thought it maybe too much.
You had to do all the best, or keep on dreaming.
Keep on dreaming.
That's something.
Ian got his boys to do that for him, to sign autographs. And I so want to do that with my kids, just to have signed autographs for them. Did I tell you Harry did his hair for the first time on his own yesterday? One of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. I use a lot of gel, but my word, it was like it was painted on. I'll have to send you a photo, actually. Sorry, Matt.
Did he acknowledge that it was bad, or did he think it was cool?
He thought it was hilarious. I thought it was terrible, yeah.
Okay.
He was creasing up when I just laughed at him for about 10 straight minutes. But,
has he started wearing... Has he started wearing links or anything to school? Yeah.
Yeah, we've tried that a while ago.
Yeah, Elodie keeps complaining that all the boys are wearing cologne at school.
They're at that age, man. That shit starts earlier than you remember.
And it's basically, I was like, cologne? It's like, in the spray cans. I was like, yeah, links. Okay, cool. Mm-hmm. No, I was just saying, I'm the only one, I guess, who hasn't delivered or given out a signed photo, because David gave me a signed photo of himself years ago.
I did.
Still in my house. James has now done it, and then now Sean's done it for Secret Santa. So,
but also what's so funny is someone ended up with it and they didn't think it was funny or whatever. I was like, do I lean over to them and just say, look, if you put it on eBay, give me the link, and you'll get 20, 30 quid for that.
We will do circular bidding right now.
Yeah, you can't do that.
We will circle the bid.
I could never do that, because if I said that to someone and then I put it on eBay and it didn't get any bids, I'd be like, oh my God, that's embarrassing.
No, but it would, though, because the whole point is, I just tweet about it, and because they have no idea, right, that we do the show and stuff.
Yeah, but you're assuming people will buy it.
Oh, come on.
That's not a given.
Listeners to the show would chuck in 20 quid just for the joke.
Yeah, just
easy. Not that the item's worth 20 quid. This isn't me being arrogant. It's just funny.
No. Yeah.
I'd put 100 quid in, Sean.
There you go. Thank you.
Right. Okay. Look, we've wandered way off the subject here. Embarrassing things have done at work. We've sort of covered that. We should probably wrap up for the day.
Yeah, I've got a story about embarrassing stuff at school, but that's a patron thing.
No, go on.
Well, no, because I think we must have mentioned this on the show or Patreon somewhere about the most embarrassing thing that ever happened to me at school. It was religious education, RE, we called it back in the day. I think, did this story ring a bell?
No, I don't think so.
Where everyone was it's a big, the entire RE class. What year was I in? Probably in. It does matter. Probably year 8 or year 9.
Okay.
Old enough to know better, I think, is the answer. So everyone in a big old circle at school. We all had in our class. We had a bit of paper and a pen, and we had to write down the thing you're most scared of happening in school. Oh, go on,
I know this story.
I've told you this, yeah.
I don't think I've gone.
I think you're most worried or scared about happening at school. I wrote down my thing, folded it up, and you put. I can't remember how we did it a way where everyone had a random bit of paper, and so everyone sat down, everyone started reading them out, and there were things such as forgetting the answers for a test, or being told to do a presentation in front of the whole school, or forgetting my PE kit. And then Michael Copping reads one out, and what he read out was terrorists coming in and killing all the kids with a gun. Because when they said,
that is scary.
When they said, what are you most scared of? I took it to the list.
That is definitely more scary than the other stuff.
Yeah. And I don't know if they ever knew it was me. I must have gone very, very red, I assume, possibly crying.
How did everyone react?
I think everyone was kind of laughing, looking around. I think the teacher looked quite nervous, and then it went back to hey, haven't done my test or whatever. But yeah, that was horrendous. I must have gone so red.
I knew a kid. So this was when I say this will sound like it's probably not real, and it may not be, but it's funny. So this is my brother's mate's little brother. Apparently did an exercise in school where they had to write about what they'd do if they found out the world was going to end, which sounds a bit heavy for like primary school kids, but yeah, this kid was like 7 or 8 or something, and he wrote, I'd go out and kill someone because it wouldn't matter.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I was reminded recently of how the most uncomfortable I've ever felt in a classroom. We had a task where we had to find a famous monologue and we had to read it in front of class. This was like English. God. And one of the kids in my class decided to do have you seen Dusk Till Dawn?
No, but I'm familiar.
Are you aware of the speech that one of the characters gives outside of the titty twister bar?
No.
Please turn off now if you
Just gonna
I'll
get us
read
banned from
some
Twitch.
of it. It's really bad. But
Should we
imagine
maybe just ask people to look it up in their own time?
No, I want some of it to be read out, frankly, Sean. How old were you? Or how?
I would have been 14. I would have been 14. And I can't remember what I read out, but I remember sitting in class when our mate Ian stood at the front of the class and said, "Pussy, pussy, pussy, come on in, pussy lovers. Here at the Titty Twister, we are slashing pussy in half. Give us an offer on our vast selection of pussy. This is a pussy blowout." And I'm not going to read the next bit because it gets
worse.
Way worse.
Cool.
But it ends. The final 2 words of that is no. I will actually read the final little bit. I don't think I've got it. I don't think I've got it on here.
In your Google Notes.
Yeah, but it's
Just in
something like,
case.
if you could find any pussy better anywhere else, and then you went, "Fuck it," like that. And we all sat there in silence. The teacher let him do the whole bit, and then we just moved on with the class. She didn't have a go at him. She didn't kick off. I am almost certain she went ballistic afterwards.
I don't
right?
know, because
And
that's
things
sort
happened
of
afterwards.
ideal, right? Because if a kid's doing that, it's because they want to get a laugh or they want to wind the teacher up. So surely the best thing the teacher can do is be like, "All right, on you go."
To have no reaction at all. It's like, okay,
Guess so.
move on.
But he wasn't like that. Like he wasn't. He wasn't like.
He wasn't
I don't know
trying to be
where it
funny.
comes
He
from.
just,
Do you think he just misjudged it? Like
I
horribly?
think so.
Yeah.
But I remember sitting there just going, "I can't. Can you please stop saying that word?" And like we're 14, like so it's not we're being rude. It was so uncomfortable. But we were at the Brit school, so maybe they just celebrated that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
That's. I'm gonna have to. I'm pretty sure Blake was in that class.
Was it him?
I'm gonna have to talk to him about that. It wasn't him. I'm gonna have to see if he remembers that. He might not have been because it might have been when he was doing a different major. But I'll have to talk to him about that. Right, is that it? Are we done?
I think we were done 20 minutes ago.
Oh, that's a good point. Socials, Matt.
Yes, streams this Thursday. Sean is back for more Bell's Mystery Mansion. This week, he's playing Echoes The Ring.
The Ring. Can't wait.
That's the ring.
Imported by Mr. James Farley, right?
Yes. Sneaky German import. It's I couldn't. So this one has been translated. So like when I do it in the app and stuff, it'll have all English dialogue. But I could not find the English version anywhere, so I've had to order it from Germany. So yeah.
Nice.
Does it say PAL on it? It's a PAL copy.
It says Das Audio Mystery Spiel. So can't wait.
Look at James laughed at that because he understood it.
Great German banter. So that's The Ring on Thursday. On Friday, James is back for more Hitman. That's Friday. Well, Thursday and Friday from 9. Go to tcgs.co/tcgsco. Yeah, God, I almost forgot. Or search TCGS in the app and you can find those streams live. If you miss them live, you can watch them on YouTube the day or so after, like all the other streams we do. If you have Amazon Prime, and you have a Twitch account, connect them, and you get you got one free sub every month to give to us. We really appreciate it. The patrons, patreon.com/TCGS for bonus shows, exclusive podcasts, early access to Marvel calls, streams, which is still planned for this month. And the website is tcgs.co for links to our gorgeous Discord, socials, all the lot, store, you name it.
Thank you so much for living it. We really do appreciate you checking us out. And we will see you next week for some more video game chit chat. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye.